Well, they say everything's bigger in Texas, but in NASCAR, it's in fact another southern state that holds the biggest racetrack on the schedule. This is Talladega Superspeedway, the biggest, maybe the best, but it's certainly a fantastic place to finish off the regular season for the Area Cup Series. This is the final round of the regular season, where we're going to eliminate the rest of the hopefuls before the playoffs begin in a 5-round run to the death in the championship. And while everyone tonight might not be on vacation, they're going to be trying as hard as they can. For the fans of the grandstands here virtually in iRacing, this sure is Sweet Home Alabama. Hi everybody, Kyle Heyer joined by Finian DeCuna and Hunter Sleppy here in Talladega, Alabama. A sleepy town most days, but Finian, this afternoon, it's going to be heckin' loud out there with 38 race cars going to the grid here in a few minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's fantastic to see so many drivers show up to race here mid-season. A large grid of drivers already taken here to Talladega. We've seen this be an interesting race in the past, being right on that cusp of the playoffs starting the final round before we knock the field down to 12 drivers chasing for a championship. And if there's any wild card, that's the biggest wild card on the NASCAR schedule, it's Talladega. We've seen many drivers just get into the playoffs to have a chance at a championship. We'll see. We got a couple drivers, quite a few drivers all in the bubble, and they're definitely going to be vying for a win, trying to see if they can get it done, secure their place for a chance at a championship.
Indeed, you see 7 drivers locked in based off wins, and at the bottom of that you see Blaze McKinney. He's actually saying 18th in driver standings right now, so as long as he stays inside the top 20, he's good to go for the playoffs. But if something happens to him and he falls outside the top 20 tonight, he's out, and that could be crucial for someone like Casey Lakatos or Jeremy Miller, guys in just single-digit points above the cutoff line or below it. Bryce Senesac as well. He had a bad week last week at Indianapolis and looking for a bounce back there. Doug Newbigging, Brian Hart's guys that could also win and get in. And Sogak, Shearer Jr., Shackelford, and DeLeo, all guys are vying to win to get inside the top 12 and fight for a championship.
Yeah, that's really the key, isn't it? Win and get in. It eliminates all the rest of your sins from the season if you can just get a win. And as Finian mentioned, this is a wild card racetrack, but for some drivers, they're coming in here needing to win. And needing to win and having to go do it here at Talladega is perhaps one of the most frustrating tasks on the planet, because you can't control your own destiny here, or it's usually very, very challenging, Finian. So for a lot of drivers tonight, I think the challenge extends beyond just the initial challenge of bump drafting and managing the draft, but also avoiding calamity. Sometimes you can't.
Yeah, sometimes you just can't, and I mean, that's going to be the big thing these guys are going to be battling tonight. A lot of their fate is taken out of their hands. Just kind of have to hope for the best, hope everything falls to fruition and just kind of goes the right way. Of course, you do have control over your car, where you place it, where you race in the pack, but, you know, again, it's a long race up ahead. Do you want to be near the front? Do you want to be near the back? Do you want to be somewhere in the middle? You kind of just have to guess and hope for the best.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because we've had different winners each time here in the Area Cup Series competition, and that man right there was so close to winning a season ago, Jacob Bell. Almost swept the Super Speedway races back at Daytona and Talladega for Season 4, but the caution coming out at an inopportune time, both times for Jacob Bell, looking to get the monkey off his back. And actually, our own Eric Weiland, he's not with us tonight, but he's saying that his pick is Jacob Bell because of the finishes he's had in the Cup Series since they moved the regular season finale at Talladega. If I have the stats right here, he finished 8th in Season 2, 3rd in Season 3, and then runner-up just a season ago. So Eric Weiland already with pick Jacob Bell in 77.
Not a bad pick, I would say. Ricky Springer comes across the stripe to begin his qualifying effort for the colors on the left. Nice and simple this season. Green, locked in. They don't have to do anything other than run the race tonight. In the yellow, they are either in or out, but they are on the cut line, meaning that they can move in or move out on points alone. If you're not in the yellow and you're not in the green, you've got really effectively no shot of winning outside of a victory. And even some of those in the yellow, Finian, will have to win this race tonight to really have a realistic shot. But most of them can point their way in with some bad luck from one of the other drivers in the yellow.
Yeah, for the bubble drivers, you consider on the bubble up to 25 points out of the standings. That still includes quite a few drivers near that cutoff line. So there's definitely quite a few drivers that can still get themselves in. I believe everyone up to Skylar Shackelford, 19th in points. So that's how big of a span we got from 9th to 19th. It's a lot of drivers in that mix, and all it takes is a wreck, especially because we talked about at the start of the race, we have a big field of cars. So if you wreck out early on and you're a driver in the points, you can easily find your way going out depending on how the rest of the drivers end up. And that's going to be the biggest thing too. The guys who are in on just barely in that bubble in on points, they may have to play this a little bit more cautiously. They might not be able to take big risks, but the guys who are out of the way out and need to get a win to get in, they can kind of just go at it and not have to worry about it because it's either they're in or they're out.
We're right on board with Jake Nichols. I'm looking at the points outside the top 20. We got Connor Kresick, Tyler Nichols, Ed Robertson, even David Weissar, really. These guys could somehow win and then get in on the point situation. Kresick, Nichols, and Robertson are the closest on that, and Weissar might need a little bit more help. And then you get to Craig Mitchell. He's not, I don't even think he's eligible because he's missed a couple races too many. Garrett Grant also going to need a lot of help. But guys that are sitting on the outside of the top 20, they get that win, and it somehow goes in their favor with the points. They're in on the playoffs and trying to make a run for the championship, just like the 87 of Blaze McKinney. Going to need a clean night, Kyle, to stay inside the top 20.
Yeah, but all the work that he really effectively had to do was win the race last week in Indianapolis, which he did in the nick of time. That was a pretty wild race. But as you mentioned, he still has to have a decent result tonight, but he can play it a bit safer than someone that has to go out there and flat out win the race. So that gives him a little bit of ability to play it safe, but you can't lollygag in the back in case everybody finishes the race. That's what we got our eyes on tonight. Here is Travis Beckner running a nice throwback livery. He's way down on the apron there, Finian, trying to shorten up this 2.66 mile distance as best he can.
You're going to try to do the best he can. Where will he end up as he comes flying across the line? Only up to 6th. Won't get near the top. I mean, essentially near the top. Up in 6th, those first 3 rows. So he will settle there as we look. Next driver heading to the start-finish line. Vincent Cortez on the back straightaway, trying to see if he can end up with a decent result. Cortez, as far as points are concerned, trying to see where he is running in the points.
He is 30th in points.
Yeah, so he's, I think, a little bit too far out to have a shot here tonight, but still looking to see if he can run, maybe get a win. He's had decent speed, that 32, just not had been able to execute either bad luck or something else that's not going his way as he comes flying across. 52.9.
That's a pretty good
That'll
lap.
put him up near the front, up to 4th.
Yeah, he's sitting 30th in the driver's standings. Best finish of 10th back at Dover and the Charlotte Oval. But you mentioned it, 30th in points, not going to be eligible for the playoffs because he's too far back, and don't think they'll propel him inside the top 20. But guys that are way deep in points or just running for fun tonight, they could easily take a win and take away a playoff opportunity for someone like, let's see, Doug Newbigin or Ed Shearer Jr. fits between those two at the end, and then say someone like Rafe Slade or even Jacob Bell sitting 31st in points. Those guys, they're just vying to win a race. They're not worried about playoffs because they're too far back. So it could still happen as we see the 99 of Kwame Scott put up a time on the board.
He'll go 20th quick in the number 99, and he'll start about halfway through this nearly 40-car field now. Brad Slaughter Jr. in the number 83. Love this Lumar livery on this new Toyota model. We're only 2 weeks in to having the new Ford and the new Toyota models. And I have to say, the rear of the Toyota really growing on me. The front, still some work to do in my brain, I think, to get it to where I'm really going to like it. But the Ford didn't need such assistance this time. That one was the car to beat. I think, actually, Brad's helped the livery with a little bit of a black bar across the front. Anytime that you're improving the look of a vehicle by slapping more random colors on it, I think that's maybe back to the drawing board at the Toyota HQ. But here comes Brad Slaughter Jr. across the stripe, and it's going to be a 52.956. That'll be good enough for a 23rd.
Yeah,
It's
probably
tight.
the best.
Holy cow.
Yeah, it's a very tight spread. I mean, what you expect, right? Because essentially these guys are just going full throttle, and, depending which way the wind blows, how they take the corner, by just millimeters.
Look at these intervals between cars. Thousandth singular, Hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is super close up at the top of the leaderboards.
Plus the bottom, too.
Yeah.
The entire top 28 drivers are all separated by 1/10 of a second.
Slaughter won this race back in season 1, looking to become the first driver to win this race twice, as is Jordan Martin, Ricky Springer, and Jake Nichols. As we see Skylar Shackelford, he's sitting pretty comfortable in points right now compared to other drivers, sitting 19th. So if he gets that win, he's locked in because he'll still be inside the top 20 in points. But you have to get that win first, Kyle.
I don't know if there's a record for most competitive qualifying at Talladega, but there are 28 cars within a tenth of a second. The entire field back to Cameron Hearn is within, that's 33rd, by the way, within about 1700ths of a second. So it is really, really tight. Skylar Shackelford will put into 52.955, so add 29 now in that 1/10 of a second bracket. I think Bryce Senesack will do that as well. Yeah, he'll do that. 30 cars within a tenth of a second. Oh, not quite. He missed it. 52.998. A whole .117 off the leader. What a terrible qualifying effort for Bryce Senesack.
I mean, hey, if there's any place to have a horrible qualifying effort, I would say definitely be Talladega or Daytona. So qualifying is going to end here. We got all 38 drivers registered for the session. So only 2 not qualifying. I'm kind of surprised. Usually we do see quite a few drivers sit out of qualifying, but only 2 sitting out. Everyone else putting in a competitive time.
Yeah, doing their best. Race fans, be sure to subscribe to the Area iRacing Twitch channel. As a subscriber, you'll have Area iRacing emotes to use in the chat. You'll also earn double channel points as a subscriber that you can use to redeem for free merchandise, all at the price of just $5 a month. And this is, of course, the HelloFresh 225 at Talladega. Looking to eat healthier in 2024 without having to spend extra money? HelloFresh is here to help. Choose from over 40 calorie smart and protein smart meal options each week. Every meal arrives pre-portioned, giving you less time to prep and more time to enjoy your meal. HelloFresh also gives you free breakfast for life with an active subscription. What are you waiting for? Click the link to get started with America's #1 meal kit today and use coupon code to save 50% off your first box. We'll copy and paste that coupon code here on YouTube. And Hunter, is there a nice little Twitch command for that? I bet there is.
I'm going to go and check that right now. I think HelloFresh.
It's probably...
yes. Exclamation mark, HelloFresh.
Yeah, I knew that. As the field gets down to grid here, we'll take this brief moment to have a look at who we've got on the onboard cameras here tonight. Of course, we've got Connor Horn giving us an onboard view of from his perspective. We've got Jake Matheson. We've got Kwame Scott. We've got Mason Kane here tonight as well. And, of course, Michael Curhan with his sign that says, please, Shane Wolf, with your with your new pile of cash, do all our OCD a favor and buy Beckner something to hold his wheel in place. I would second that motion. And then we've also, of course, got Travis Beckner, Bryce Senesack. Yep, there he is.
Is this the most face cams we've had in a?
I think so.
Broadcast? This is like, what is there, 7 or 8?
Enough. I'll tell you that. Here's David Weishart. He's got his Mountain Dew Code Red and ready to go racing tonight. I think that's a pretty good lineup, I would say. So, time to go through our Roasted Gems Coffee starting lineup, I'd say as well. Race fans, start your engines with a fresh cup of Roasted Gems Coffee. Choose from some of the finest coffee beans from Colombia and Peru, or try the blended flavors of French vanilla and hazelnut. Use discount code Area iRacing for 10% off your order at checkout at roastedgems.com. Okay, I don't know that we've got time to go through the entire field, so let's just go through the top 20 here. Kick things off with Seth Knoll. He's locked in, got nothing to worry about. He starts from the point tonight in the #1 Toyota. Spencer Burns rolls off second in the 06 Finian.
Moving back to third, it's going to be Cedric Hunter rolling off in the #13. Vincent Cortez looking to see if he can get a decent finish from tonight. We'll be rolling off in fourth.
And in fifth place, there'll be Connor Okrensick in the #14. He's a long ways out of the playoffs, but Jake Nichols is locked in that 73.
Moving on back to seventh, it's going to be Travis Beckner in the #28. Next to him, Justin S. Sogak in the 67, rolling off in 8th place.
In 9th place, there'll be Jeremy Miller in the #30. He's got to do something magical tonight to make sure he can keep himself in. Ben Pierce starts 10th in the #65.
Moving on back to 11, Tyler Nichols is going to roll off in the 41. Next to him, David Weishart in the 33, going to roll off in 12th.
And Matthew Bell starts 13th in his #9 Camaro. Ed Robertson 14th in the #64.
Moving back to 15th, Blake Hoppy in the 23 is going to be rolling off on the inside. Next to him, Greg Mitchell in the #2 in 16th.
And 17th place, Michael Curhan locked in, got nothing to worry about. He's going to go have fun tonight. Mason Kane rolls off 18th in the 31.
Going back to 19th, Douglas Newbigin in the 71. Next to him, Ryan Hart's a driver that definitely needs to perform well. It's kind of surprising to see him in this position. He's 15th in points. He needs to have a good finish if he wants to get in.
And the rest of the field is going to scroll along the bottom of your screen. We'll note some notables here. Skylar Shackelford in the yellow has some work to do. Jake Matheson well locked in 25th. Casey Lakanis has a chance to get in, but he's got to work as well. Connor Horn starts fairly deep in the field, as does Ricky Springer. Blaze McKinney locked in, but he's got some work to do tonight just to make sure he's good on points as the rest of the field continues to scroll on by. All right, guys, let's make some picks. I am apparently 3 behind, so I got to catch myself back up. So Eric Wineland chose the 77. I'm going to go with this one car. He's also been up there in some of these plate battles. I think we'll throw some chaos in here. The plate goat, Jeremy Miller, the number 30. And then let's see, can I hope for, let's roll with the 99, Kwame Scott. And we'll give that my third pick. Go ahead, Finney.
All right, I got to go with Ricky Springer. He's done really well in these plate tracks. So hey, he's going to be starting down the order in 33rd. I think he's going to get there. He's got a lot of time to do so.
I'm going to go with an underdog pick, even though he's won here once before. Give me the 83 of Brad Slaughter.
All right, so we've all got unique picks. I hope that I can catch myself back. Apparently, I'm second in average points. I just need to pick more drivers. So I need to keep up to date with that. I thought I picked some pretty good ones throughout the field. It is a 94-lap race tonight. This is a long one, an hour 22 from flag to flag if it goes green. But, of course, there is the looming big one that could take out anybody, anytime, anywhere. Nobody is safe except for those in the green. Green flag flies, and we're racing at Talladega, the last race of the regular season in the Area Cup Series. One, two, 3 wide already for the majority of the field here. Lap 1 is complete. Here comes Cedric Hunter dropping to the bottom. Seth Knoll goes to the high side. This is a full field, 38 starters here in this one, and it's going to be a wild night here. Lap 1 complete and 93 to go, fam.
And already a note for Spencer Burns. If you saw him pulling off to the pit lane, he got a solid black flag for being ahead of the leader at the start-finish line, Seth Knoll. So he had to come down and serve a black under green. Whoa. So he's going to be down the order as they're already making some contact in the outside lane. Speaking of which, that outside lane forward quickly. I thought maybe double foul for a little while. They're up there already. That outside lane, even in practice, a lot of drivers going up there to run. I think there's definitely some speed to be had, and they're already making quick work of it.
You see in sim with Mason Kane. He made the move to the inside in the orange 31 there. Going to be the second car on the middle lane with Jeremy Miller leading the way there. And to his outside, it's actually teammate Travis Speckner, or affiliate Travis Speckner, but on the inside leading this lap, we're going to be close to Cedric Hunter in the 13. Here comes the middle, led by Kane and Miller. Now Kane to the outside, 3 wide to the 1.
Yeah, already a lot of jockeying for position here. This racetrack feels like a Walmart parking lot. You got so much space for activities. You can damn near park your RV between the lanes here when everyone's performing well, but it very quickly tightens up as people get slipping and sliding around. And Connor Okrezik is on a mission just to win a race tonight. He's dropped to the bottom here in behind Mason Kane, or Cedric Hunter rather, as Mason Kane sits up there on the outside lane in the 31 with help and assistance from the 28 of Travis Speckner in blue colors tonight with the Calusa Pines car. Then it's Vincent Cortez trailing big slide for Miller out of turn 4.
Yeah, so the last thing you need to do is have a slide middle 3 wide out of turn 4. That's always a deadly combination, and that's again the danger with the bump drafting. The bump draft he got off Seth Knoll didn't quite play out, and there's Cameron Hearn, number 4, jumping ahead of the number 30 as everyone's kind of shuffling for position. But one thing I can tell you, that middle lane looks to have almost no speed. It looks like the return of the sucker hole.
Had a little help there, as I think that was Ricky Springer jumping up, and now they're getting a little stacked up. Beckner and Kane are going to now move from top to middle, while the bottom lane, about first 5 or 6 cars are separated from the next cars side by side, being led by Kane and Beckner through the middle. There we see Jake Nichols just trying to keep his car straight in 3.
Out of turn 4 here, just a reminder for those that joined late about the yellow and green on the ticker. Yellow is in or out, but not locked. And within striking distance effectively, within ability to point your way into the playoffs. In the green, you're locked in. You're in the white, you are not within 30 points, and you got to win to get in, or you can't get in at all.
Yeah, that's going to be the big thing, and a lot of the drivers are just going to be in that mindset of, I need to win this race or else. So I'm curious to see how it's going to play out, especially later in the race when these guys are going to have to make some dangerous moves if they need to. But we're still very early on, only lap 5 and 94. It's a matter of kind of managing yourself at this point in time. You know, maybe a couple of drivers already dropped to the back to hang on. In fact, the entire second pack that's formed up in behind James Shanewolf. Or not James Shanewolf, but I think Edward Shear Jr. is now leading
Blaze McKinney, I think, is in the 87.
Blaze McKinney is, yes, he's leading that line. So a bunch of drivers in the back, they're just kind of hanging out here. Notably my pick, Ricky Springer, all the way down here. Also notable Jake Matheson down here as well with the rest of these drivers.
Yeah, this is a smart pack to be in, especially if you're the 87 to Blaze McKinney. Going to want to keep a clean race, but want to get points, which now will happen at the
trouble.
very end. Oh, crash!
Car spun out, and James, the 4 of Cameron Hearn is in it. And there's at least a few others. Justin Sogak in the 67 as well. First caution, lap 6.
Yeah, it looked like the epicenter around that was around Vincent Cortez, I think is where this kicked off. Oh.
Have a look.
This is a weird one. I don't know how it's going to look on your end.
67 up high. Ooh, whoa. What happened there?
Yeah, 32 Cortez got invisible hip check by someone.
Oh, Ada Slate was behind him there on that outside lane.
Come on, I got. What the
Wow.
heck?
It's like he hit a banana peel in Mario Kart. The back end just slipped out of nowhere.
I haven't seen like anything like that in a while. Yeah, that was some big time netcode. That is very odd, and unfortunately the 67 is going to get the worst of it here. Cameron Hearn as well.
Ooh, that 65 of Ben Pierce. What a wreck avoidance he had.
I don't know if it could beat, who was it last week? Was it Mitchell? Down on the heading down to Indy? Someone dodged it big time. And I think
it might have been Greg Mitchell.
I think they get to keep the avoidance of the year, but where is that 65 on track? When we have these big lists of cars, it's always hard to find them on there. I got it now. It's always hard to find them on the running order because there's just so many cars stacked vertically. Watch this.
Woo! Oh! That's a Code Brown moment.
That's a bad moment if it's Code Brown already. We're not even 10 laps in.
Yep. Well, pit stops should include a change of undies for a couple drivers, I think. That's probably protocol here. And pit stops on lap 7. Is this what we expected here?
I'm trying to think of what the fuel mileage is now with these tapered spacer cars. I think, yeah, I mean, I think getting them to work. I think if anything, too, this just gives you more options as far as strategy is concerned. Because you ideally want to ideally want to pit with the rest of with the most drivers, because that way when it comes down to pit road and needing to come down to pit lane, you can pit in a big group of cars. There's a couple, I think, went on through. I think a couple missing their stalls. Everyone trying to figure out where they are as they come out. I think Newbegin, Matthew Bell, Connor Horn, they're going to come back on down.
Not stopping their box. 3 drivers.
It's a bonus point for Newbegin, though. That's huge for him.
So, yeah, I mean, he'll pick up a lap lead, I think. Yeah, yes, he will.
The benefit of having the start finish line after pit lane.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting point that you bring up there because everyone has to slow down and you're going to roll right by him. So lap 6, we have our first crash. Justin Sogak, Cameron Hearn, and the 32 of Vincent Cortez trip off a 3-car accident. I think for Cameron Hearn, this car is likely going to spend some more time on pit lane. He's got the proper template here this week. We were yelling at him last week for having the old Mustang, but he's got the new one now. Body panel's shaping back up. He's still on the lead lap. Justin Sogak is as well. And I think maybe the Ada Rafe Slate got some damage, but he's repaired and back rolling again as well.
Yeah, Vincent Cortez, he's also still out on the track. He just went through pit road. I'm not sure if he missed a stall or what. He's still got some damage to the right front of the car. He's probably going to have to address because these cars, once they have that damage, they're really slow on these super speedways. So they're going to have to come on down. He's going to have to come on down and get some of that repaired.
Hope we don't have to use this light so much tonight.
Hey, I mean, you never know. We'll get Jacob Bell. He's had very unfortunate luck with cautions coming out.
Yeah, that's why we installed this camera, is to keep an eye on those last lap moments of caution, although we've since realized or discovered that the light isn't actually attached at all to the moment of yellow, and it just looks nice, and we can debate about it every time it happens, which is going to happen probably tonight too. So
it's a very big chance, Gavin. There's actually quite a few races we had decided. I know a couple drivers in the IndyCar series we've done. Normally there's one race in California that was decided like that, and I think that was one of the first instances we dealt with that, and we were so confused at why one driver was ahead when the lights came on, and all the other drivers listed as winning the race.
We've had it happen at least twice. I think both times at Daytona.
Oh, we had one at Daytona, I think one here.
I think we had it at Daytona 2 years in a row, didn't we not? 2 seasons.
It could have been. So 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, because it happened with Seth winning one, and then who won the year before? I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
You're talking about season 3. I think it's Travis Beckner.
That's right.
Yeah.
Doubling back up for the restart here.
If we can see it out, he's the only driver not to come down pit lane.
Interesting call there.
Yeah, Cedric Hunter's on 2. Everyone basically took 2 tires. There's a few that took 4 deeper in the field, but either or no tires at all and just took fuel. It's hard to can't really tell.
I mean, one of those places you could probably get away without tires, especially with the next gen car.
Weather's
no tires, just gas.
Weather's pretty warm, 119 Fahrenheit, 73 in the air. Nice, reasonable temperature for the virtual race fans, but track temp is pretty toasty. By the way, I was alerted earlier that this is the 250-mile race at Talladega, not the 225. That'll be on Thursday. Now, I feel like we should note that it's probably unlikely going to be 250 miles. It'll probably be a little more than that. So I feel like I wasn't that wrong. I was just wrong on the other direction. So, all right.
If it was ARCA, then it would be forever.
Well,
ARCA rules.
I wish our races were HelloFresh portion size and always what you need and not any more or not any less. but sometimes there are a few laps more. Thankfully, we don't have unlimited yellows. We've seen how that goes. The one rule keeps people in check, I think, most of the time. Doubling back up, going to be lap number 10 of 94. Douglas Newbegin is the control car in that Roasted Gems coffee machine on the outside lane. It's Cedric Hunter on the inside, 2x2 back here at Talladega. And we're going to restart once again. Back in the air is the green, and racing once more in Talladega, Alabama.
Look at the run of that outside lanes again. Mason King went from about 5th all the way up to the lead. Now we got DeLeo looking low, trying to take the lead in turn 3.
That's a big move there from Tom DeLeo, dropping ahead of the 71. Mason King got a big shove from Travis Beckner, and both those two are going to rocket to the lead.
Yeah, King trying to make up after a poor running at Daytona at the start of the season. Started in 3rd, finished 40th. He started mediocre here in 18th, now up in the lead. See how long he can stay. You got Travis Beckner pushing him, and of course Travis Beckner, a throwback to Michael Waltrip. In fact, that entire team, Miller Racing, got some DEI throwbacks throughout the field as Brad Slaughter works his outside by himself in the the 83 car.
Beckner's going to have the help. Slaughter is not, so Slaughter's going to be in the sucker hole on that outside lane. Here comes Shackelford looking to the inside. He needs a win. Going to tuck back in line. Current leads the bottom lane, and Slaughter's falling back on that 3rd lane.
Really fun to watch Travis keep an eye in the mirror there, looking up, looking down, focusing on what's ahead, what's behind him, what's to the side of him here. This is a busy, busy racetrack. This is a long race. You're going to be mentally wore out. No one's sitting around running single file in this race. There are so many drivers. Look at all the yellow up in the top 15 that could use a win to propel themselves into the playoffs. This is their last opportunity. Travis is good and clear, but he's still just as busy running 2nd right now.
That's the thing, though. It doesn't matter where they're running now. It matters they're running on lap 94. So, you know, some of the guys, they're trying to get up there, being in the front. But, of course, you know, always have the chance at a wreck, especially when you got so many cars in such a small piece of racetrack. Ooh, there's Matthew Bell making a move to peeling off to the inside. He's trying to bring along Ryan Hartz, another driver we mentioned. Really needs to have a good finish. Stuck back in 15th outside the points. Kind of amazing a driver as Calver being that far down in the points. But Ryan has unfortunately missed a couple races, putting him in that situation.
Yeah, both him and Bell are going to need good runs tonight in order to lock themselves into the playoffs as Bell's leading that bottom lane, and it's still Mason Kane in the middle. Actually moved up to the outside. Oh, we almost had contact there with, that was 88. Oh, they're still touching.
This is going to be a big mess.
Oh, Kwame Scott, he saves it, and they somehow make it through, but
I cannot believe that. Newbegin, hang on to it, and he will. That's going to break up the field in a big way, but that almost certainly would have led to disaster for dozens had he not saved that. Let's have a look. Wow. I mean, this is disaster if any one of these cars corrects back to the right. And how they did not, I'll never know.
Yeah, best case scenario right there. No one got wrecked, no one got turned, almost happened, but Kwame Scott, Shackelford bouncing off each other into Hartz, and then they kept bouncing into each other into turn one, and somehow they all get out of it without crashing.
We went from everyone running within 2 seconds of each other to now the field spread around 18, 16 seconds amongst all 38 cars. So the field very much split out, although you can see the majority of the big pack in behind, and they're trying to catch up to the leaders in this little 5-car breakaway up near the front.
Yeah, as we see the 42 of Connor Horn there on the inside, second car on the inside lane. A car that was on the outside, now behind him, Jake Matheson, he's fighting for the Drivers' Championship. 9 points separate that between himself and Jake Nichols, and that's an extra 15 bonus points. So Matheson needs a solid run, and currently running in the third spot. Say doing just a fine job. And Cameron Hearn. Hearn was just in that most recent caution, and he's in fifth.
Never quit, right? I mean, that's just amazing. And this almost crash has split up the field in a big way, and this could drastically change the face of this race with the field split up so much. This second pack is almost as big as a normal lead group, and we've got a third pack back here as well, but now we've got that single file running, laps clicking off, everyone just focusing on their mini groups. And Finney, this is what leads to long green flag runs. So, whoa, as Seth Knoll jumps out of line, now you have to consider, do you have friends around you? Can we pit together? That sort of thing. Until the field's back 3 wide, high, wide, and handsome, I would plan on this going green for a bit. So you have to kind of change your strategy now with who you've got around you.
Yeah, I'm curious to see. I have a feeling these 5 guys up in the front, what they really need to do is make sure they work together. Interesting thing, though, is you got 5 cars, all from 5 different teams. 609, Miller Motorsports, actually 2 cars for 609. And Physicus, and then Solar Flare. So a bunch of different cars near the front. They'll only make sure they work together. If they can work together, might be able to manage that gap, that bigger group chasing them down and behind.
Not going to be hard when they're side by side for P6 on the racetrack. That's Senesac and Weishart going at it door to door, actually pump drafting each other. That car on the inside lane leading the way. That's the 8 Slate. But these guys are about 4 seconds back now since they started going side by side. But majority of the field going on the outside lane. Slate and that is Matthew Bell on the inside. They're falling towards the back.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to organize a group that's this big, right? I mean, this is a little bit more unruly than you'd want in a pack that has to run down a very nicely organized group of 4 or 5 cars. Connor Horn leads the pack now. Seth Knowles dropped to the tail, but all 5 of those cars, despite them not being teammates, they know the drill here. Stay in line, run nose to tail, and it'll be really, really hard for the second group to catch them. Look how disorganized the back of it is. As long as they stay like this, they're not going to run them down. Last time by, Finian 8/10 slower than that front 5.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that these guys just need to get out of this outside lane and just get back to the inside and stop slowing down the guys on the inside, because there's no point where you're just hurting yourself, and then that lead group can just break further and further away.
Yeah, trying to do so. There's the good majority of the field on that bottom lane. Still a few guys on the outside. Anna Sodak was in the top 10 just a lap ago after getting caught up in that wreck. Now falling towards the top 20-ish part, and there's the Leo pulling out of line. Didn't like getting bumped from the 8 Slate, so he's just going to drop to the back with the Rick's Hot Sauce cars there, and Weishart's actually going to do the same thing. I'm wondering if they're doing this not because they're worried about getting bumped wrong and causing a crash potentially, but maybe playing fuel mileage here as we go back up front to the top 5.
Yeah, this is Jake Matheson, and he's dropped to the tail of this front group as well. So they're starting to kind of shift and shuffle themselves, but again, very orderly in comparison to that trailing group. And I think that second group just trying to get organized and I think, again, hook up with your teammates and try to break away or break out separately from that second group, because with such a large group, it's just very hard to organize that amount of cars. So you got to change something because they were not making progress. They realize that. They've shifted. They've made up a bit more as far as lap time is concerned, but they're still running slower lap after lap than this front 5. So this is going to be a very interesting strategic battle, all kicked off by that almost crash on lap 13.
I was going to say, it really changed the dynamic of this race, and I think a big way that people didn't think of, but we're seeing this front group, they're organizing. Everyone's really on the radio. I can hear drivers from the middle group, drivers from the front group, drivers from the back group. Everyone just trying to coordinate, getting in line, working together so they can obviously catch the leaders, and of course the leaders trying to work so that way no one catches them by the end of the race. But so far the leaders are actually expanded that gap now to 6 seconds and change. I think what's really helping is that it's just 5 drivers, and they're all willing to work together because they know what's at stake here, and they can have an easy racing and just sort out amongst themselves.
Yeah, still got some shuffling going on where Stennisak's now going to be leading the way. Slate, Bell, Hartz, and Weissart, the rest of the top 10, they're all in that pack right behind him, and it seems like here they come through. I was going to say everyone is going single file, but someone else just went. That was Cameron Hearn. He went from 3rd to 5th in that first group, so definitely seems like fuel mileage might be playing a factor. Connor Horn as well. Something's going on.
Well, I think they could also be working together to jump out of line and jump to the back and maybe, not expose any one car. Remember that these are the only 5 cars in this group, so they all have to make it together to the pit stop window, right? If you start losing cars here and there because one car burned up more fuel than the other, you can't pit together. So it's in everyone's best interest to work together. Let a car lead a few laps, drop them to the tail so they can save some fuel. Same thing here. Watch Jeremy Miller. This is all organized and intentional to make sure everyone stays on the same strategy because the fuel burn is so different from the front to the tail of this pack.
Also, a big thing too is the engine temperatures as well. So the guys can't keep pushing. So the guy in second needs to get a chance to get in that clean air, cool off the car. So we're seeing that exchange happen there. These guys in behind, they're also trying to organize. They're doing it at a slightly less efficient rate compared to the leaders. But this second group's finally, I think, completely single file. So now it's going to be interesting to look at the lap times. It's this bigger group, more cars in a train. Are they going to be able to catch up to the leaders?
Waiting game at this point, because then we're going to have to count into green flag pit stops if there's no caution in between now and then. And even then, well, that's the third pack. They still got guys trying to get shuffled down in there. But yeah, we still see the carousel here of rotating drivers. Seth Knoll now going to lead the way. Matheson down to 5th.
And keeping an eye on the lap times here on the left-hand side of the screen. You can see last time by, pretty much even from the front pack to the second pack, maybe a little bit quicker for pack number 2. That time for the leader of 49.3, 49.2s, 49, and look now, 49.1s for the leaders of that second pack. So they're beginning to make some inroads here, Finney, and it's going to be slow but steady progress if they keep up at this rate.
I think so, and up ahead of the leaders, they're catching up to Casey Lakatos, who's the one lone car off into the distance. Yeah, he was now able to catch up with anyone, got really to the short end of the stick, and is about to be lapped by the leaders who are still exchanging positions.
This is going to be a saving grace for Matheson because he was starting to get a little bit too far back to where he might lose that pack, but the one on Knoll jumping out helps him out.
I just think this has drastically changed the face of this race. This was not going to play out this way without that issue that we had on lap 13. Had we not had that almost crash, we probably would have been under caution again for another crash because of how aggressive everyone was being. This has totally shifted everyone from being aggressive to now working together, and it's going to create a very intriguing strategy battle from here on out with everyone so split up and separated. We haven't even checked into that third pack led by Kwame Scott in a while. There's that 99.
It was almost a wreck in fourth pack down the order. They were trying to catch back up and almost crashed. Douglas Newing, I heard him jumping on the radio. There's a block on the front straightaway by the start-finish line.
Oh, Jake Matheson is connecting. And
his quality is dropping down below, and yep, he's just sitting there saying, damn it.
No, I don't even, he's not, his internet's gone.
Oh, no.
And that's it for Jake Matheson. I don't think he's going to recover from that.
Well, there's a good thing that he's won a lot of races, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then there were 4 in the leading pack.
That's huge too for the driver standings, because then that would put Jake Nichols at the top of the standings, depending on where he finishes, and that's if Jake Matheson doesn't come back for the night.
He has officially lost connection with the server.
Yeah, and
so as long as Jake Nichols doesn't finish outside the top 30, then it's Jake Matheson's. But actually, no, other way around. If Jake Nichols finishes inside the top 30, it's essentially his driver's championship to lose at this point.
Yeah, that's going to change the face of the race as well, for those two at least. The second pack looking still mighty good, though. They're still chewing into that lead. It was, well, maybe not. It was 5.2. Now it seems like it's 5.9, so they've lost some here or there. And that time it was about 4/10 slower than that lead pack. So they were gaining a bit, but now with the 0.9 out front, it doesn't seem to be going quite as well. And sometimes there's drivers that are better at leading, sometimes better at chasing, and Finian looked like they had a better combination before with Bryce pushing.
But it really is similar to it, for those who watch, I don't watch, but I've seen on TV the Tour de France. Right? You got the main peloton, and then you got the group out in front, you got guys in behind, everyone's switching out, or a guy in the front to let that driver cool off, or rider, I guess in that case, you know, back off, and then have another guy sprinting up in front. So a whole lot of strategy, and like you mentioned before, just made this race so interesting. And seeing how all the different groups are playing it out, you know, some groups working better than others. And actually, if anything, the groups are all starting to slowly separate out a little bit more.
Yeah, right now this is sitting good for Bryce Senecek, as he's just on the cusp of making the playoffs. But with Kate Silicanis being in the back, Blaise McKinney as well. The only other competition he has is Jeremy Miller, who's running in third. So in the meantime, that would probably, for now, push Senecek into the playoffs, but still got a long way to go, Kyle.
Yeah, this is not what Blaise McKinney wants to see. Now remember, I have him in the green because he has a race won and he's currently in position to move on. But if he finishes down here in 34th and has a disastrous day, and this is 34th would be a pretty big disaster, it is possible for him to lose the screen status. So he's kind of unique in that scenario where he's in, but he's not. He's in, but he's not. I mean, he's as long as he has an okay day, he's in. But if he has a disaster, he's not.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys ahead of him, I mean, obviously being that far down the order, are ahead of him on the racetrack. So it's not particularly more critically, guys behind him are also way up ahead of him. So he can knock him outside that top 20. So I can imagine him here just sitting frustrated, because they are 8 seconds back from the third main pack.
You see the shuffling going on again. Horn still leading the way. Jeremy Miller right behind, and then Noel Hearn, and then the lap car of Licata's there. So still 5 cars in this main pack without 56 and Matheson.
Yeah, had they lost that 56 and not gained the 50, I'd be a bit worried.
Something happened to James Skiley. He's slow on the apron.
He's got some damage in that 7. Big time damage, actually.
Yeah.
And it must have happened in turns 1 and 2. Here's a look at it. It was right behind Tommy Scott.
Yeah, it happened right by the start-finish line. It's like...
Oh, what?
Like a bomb went off.
That's weird.
It's scraping underneath.
A different look at this. It just... Hold on. Let's ride on board Kwame's car from the tailgate here. Oh, man. That is not...
Yeah, he got some netco damage, is what he's saying.
Yeah, that seems like to check out with what we just saw. That thing just exploded.
So weird. Netco's been really interesting tonight. Yeah, internet in general has been weird tonight. Had the first caution due to a netcode, and then now this damage to James Skiley due to netcode.
Do you think it has to do with the new bodies of the Ford and the Toyota?
It very well could. That's actually a pretty interesting point. Eric Weinland bringing up in the chat here about Rolex 24 bump drafting was killing some of the top split cars. It could very well be a new damage model situation as well with untested bodies. Different meshes reacting differently, so that's very likely. Matthew Bell is slow. He's just dropping to the tail here. But that's something to be concerned about, because how do you get through a 94-lap race at Talladega without pushing? It's hard. You want to, but everyone's slowly learning that that might be a risk you might not want to take, especially if you're on the cut line here.
Issue is when you have such a big jumbo pack of drivers, everyone's got a different agenda. Some drivers just willing to take the risk, because that's the only, it's either that or they don't get a fight for championship at all. So I think they're going to be willing, but of course the drivers come in on points they don't want to take that risk, like you mentioned, and they're just going to want to have just be out there and make sure they make it to the finish. So everyone's out there on different agendas, and depending on what agenda you're on, it's going to determine if you're going to push hard, risk it, or just kind of lay back and ride this out.
I think for now they're in the groove of just riding this out.
Yeah, and well, the riding it out sounds great, but if you're in that second group, it's not going to work so well because they continuously have been losing time. It's a couple tenths a lap still, and we've got 65 laps to go. We're 30 laps in, so we're about a third of the way through this race, and their progress has not turned around. So that makes me concerned that if all things continue as they are, we could just run the next 60 laps without a caution, and then the race becomes for fifth.
Yeah, I'm also just looking at this leading back, considering, the odds, the top four in the running end plus Casey Lakatos.
Well,
so Cameron Hearn is the only one that's not really within grasp of getting in. However, he's way down the points order in 27th, and I think even with a win, it's just he's way too many points back for a win to be effective. However, Jeremy Miller, he could use a win.
Well, I'm just stoked because two of my picks are in this pack. Seth Knoll and Jeremy Miller.
Where is Ricky at?
He is, I want to say,
he's
he's in
10th. Okay, I'll take that.
Well, I ride or die with Slaughter Gang here, running 7th.
And still some shifting and shuffling, but deeper in the field here. 24 laps on this fuel tank. And maybe another 10, Finney, before we see him hit pit lane?
I think about 10, if I'm not mistaken, is around where they're going to get at before they head on down to pit lane. If I remember serving it correctly. Around 32, 36 laps is the pit window.
Is it a full moon tonight? The answer is no. It's actually February 24th, so almost exactly a month from today.
Oh.
Like 3 weeks from now. Very much not a full moon. Although we are in sim time. What's the... well, sun's occluded by the clouds. Not a full sun either.
I mean, we are in the ancient Indian burial ground, so there's that.
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Good point. So Seth Knoll leads the way. Let's have an eye on... Actually, we can do it this way now. We can pull up laps led on the left-hand side of your screen, and you can see how many laps each driver has led. Fairly even split amongst the front runners here. Nothing for Hearn yet in this front 5-pack. James Scioli has tacked himself on the tail of this front group as well, and Jake Matheson's back on track 9 laps down. I have a feeling that is going to be a hopeful and wishful thinking to get back up in the lead lap with how green it's been so far.
Yeah, I guess he's just running out there to see what happens and kind of hope for the
nothing
best.
Good so far.
Yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't. What happens, it doesn't matter. He's got 4 wins. He's way ahead of the cut line, or even close to knocked out of the top 20. So he's more than good. Out there collecting paycheck.
Still looking to collect that driver's...
he's being paid to be there
for the regular season.
Well, not looking likely with the 73 still in the race. Although 34th. 60 laps to go this time through, guys. We're clicking away laps at 48 seconds a pop here. And the front 5 continue to accelerate away 11.2 seconds. Back to Brad Slaughter Jr. now in 5th.
Yeah, it's kind of setting riding it out, and they've not been able, no matter what these guys do, I've seen every other car in this pack up near the front, and they've just not been able to find someone to get out there and definitively get them to the front. And I think it might be a case of, too many cooks spoil the broth. I think there's too many drivers in the pack slowing them down. Because we clearly see with the 4 up in front, or 5 really now, they've been able to easily, more efficiently exchange and get change out drivers, put new drivers in the front. They actually picked up another straggler, Team Scioli now, 3 laps down, back out there.
This is the current situation in the SimTV HQ as we click through a long green flag run. The Cat has established his sitting, and
he looks very comfortable.
Yeah, well, I'm not, but glad he is.
Too comfortable.
Down the back straightaway. They've picked up now again at Casey Lakatos and the 7, a little bit more shuffling deeper in the field. This is that third pack. This is getting rowdy. Who's the sacrificial lamb that brings out the yellow that saves everyone's night, huh?
I almost saw Rice Lake go in the wall. He just aggressively came out on the back straightaway, but he pulls back in line. No harm, no foul there. But down the order, this is where it's getting a little bit spicy here. Whoa, Garrett Grant. I thought I almost saw him get turned.
Whose arm
up the nose of John Bonnerin.
Tyler Nichols, Douglas Dubiging, Blaze McKinney. McKinney is another driver that would really like to see some progress forward, but they're 7.9 back from that third pack. And Brad Slaughter Jr. dropping out of the lead of the pack, the second pack. He'll tuck in behind Travis Beckner and some others, as they have now lost another full second and a half since the last time we mentioned it. So it's been a bit more falling down the order. It's still about 2 or 3 tenths a lap that they're losing time.
Oh, and Jake Matheson, he's lost connection again.
Oh, frustrating
Something
night.
going on with dinner, right?
Bet you it's Xfinity. You see that? You see that? Just the news the other day that they have to stop saying Xfinity 10G because it's misleading.
Like it's not actually 10G.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is awesome. That's music to my ears.
All they have
Didn't it used to be Xfinity 5G, or was it always 10G?
10G's not a thing. It's not a thing, and it's misleading marketing. They can say as fast as Xfinity Internet all they want, or as
slow.
Well,
As slow as Xfinity Internet.
yeah. Is that
Should be
second?
sponsoring probably the Tour Modified series instead of the Xfinity series. That's the speed of the cars.
Kitty
As
karting.
fast as Xfinity 5G.
There you go. As fast as Xfinity 2G.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking because Verizon has like a 5G logo. On
Yeah, it's also, I mean, 5G's hardly real.
You also need 5Gs. One G's honestly more than enough.
What about a G6?
Yeah. Okay, funny story about this. While we're in this lap clicking off mode here, 45 minutes to go roughly. I was in Target the other day. They had an AT&T salesman. I had AT&T internet 1 year, but they were going to try to sell me an internet service from AT&T. And she says, "Hi, sir. What do you get for internet and what do you pay?" And I said, "I get a gigabit a month, $50. And she goes, "I can't beat that." I go, "I know." And I kept going. And I love it. It was great. It was a finally moment where I got to tell an ISP that I have something better and I don't need you. It was great.
What do you have currently?
It's Astound, which is through RCN, which is only in a couple major urban centers, but it's fantastic.
Okay. I got Verizon ever since I switched. I've had zero issues. I used to have Optimum, which probably no one has heard of.
Division of
Outside
Spectrum,
the
though, yeah?
Northeast. I think so, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm not
Comcast
too sure.
owns
Whoa, it's
Everything.
got a little spicy for the lead on the back straightaway. Seth Noel and Connor Horn were down below the yellow line for a split second. Got a little disorderly, but not that it really matters. They're 15 seconds. They're at the rate they're going at. By the end of this race, they're going to be an entire pit stop ahead of the rest of the field.
I'm not sure if we can
Be
even
like
see
Formula
them,
1.
but let's see if we can see the distinct groups. There's the, I think, is that the lead pack through the tri-oval now?
Yep, that is them.
And then bottom of your screen on the left, I think, is the fourth pack, pack 2. No, sorry, this is pack 3. Pack 2 is on the right.
They're coming out of turn 4. Ooh, and
There.
David Weishart coming down to pit lane by himself.
Yeah, 33 laps on the tank of fuel. That is surprising. Well, he's got more friends. He's got the 83
there we
and
go.
the 09. He's got some buddies with him. But 33 laps on the tank. We should expect more to come in the next few moments.
I mean, everyone's going to have to make another stop before the end of this race, so I think it's not going to matter a whole lot where they come down. It's a matter of if you come down in a group. And speaking of which, again, these all four of these guys, they got to plan something out here. Of course, Connor Horn and Jeremy Miller being the only two teammates in this group, they can maybe plan something different, but you definitely want to have more than two drivers.
Some smoke coming from the 33 pit box. Oh, never mind.
I mean, hey, if anything, he's like a modern-day Dick Trickle. He used to smoke cigarettes. I can't imagine. I can't believe that was. I can't believe that was a thing.
And old NASCAR was better NASCAR, I'll tell you that.
We've yet
Casually
to
driving
see
around here.
Back when
cigarette in
things
the
were
mouth.
fun. I'm just kidding.
We don't see any current day NASCAR drivers hitting a vape in their car in the middle of the
I
race.
bet you Bubba Wallace is ripping a vape. I'd like it better if he did.
I don't even think you can get something to your mouth with the modern helmets.
Dude, they got pipes hooked into their helmet. They can vape remotely. They can have a little vape container that's like on the wall of the car.
Button on the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of it communicating to your team, it's hitting the vape.
It's a special modification for Noah Gragson. So.
I think Kyle Busch should hit a vape with a sponsor, especially with a sponsor.
No, I think they that company's in trouble. 3Chi?
Are they?
Or 3Chi or whatever it was called?
3Chi, I think.
Yeah, they had some misleading marketing or something like that, and they pulled all their funding.
Man, what's everyone with misleading marketing?
Well, don't lie to people. Let's start there. Sim TV, we broadcast the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Sign with us. Talladega Bell dropping out of the lead of this pack. He's going to try to tuck back in front of Ed Robertson. Robertson will give him a shot. And when did the rest of the field come back in? That other group came down a bit earlier. And these others are getting to the point now where they can go to lap 40. That'd be 6 laps from now. That would get them to lap 50. They still wouldn't be able to make it.
Oh, Ray Slate is cutting the grass through the tri-oval.
Sure is.
Doing a little landscaping.
Oh, this started off of turn 4, right here.
Oh, off the nose, Beckner, bam. Whoa, whoa, look out. Did he miss the wall?
I don't know, we got right on board with that.
He might have scraped it.
Oh, gosh. Oh, he did touch it.
I mean, all things considered, that could have been significantly worse.
I mean, he could have fooled me that he missed it.
I have a pit violation.
Well, I think he'd rather have that than have the left side of that 8 car embedded in the safer barrier.
Yeah, he did get that cleared, so he's all good to go. Benefits of having a live admin.
So we're
to Carter Coupe.
We're going to be 50 laps to go. Actually, we are already 50 laps to go. If you sound muffled, it's because the cat is sticking his face in my mouth. And the
They know no boundaries.
No, they do not. Tell you what, long race that where there's just a lot of strategy happening and not a lot of passing in action is all right with the cat hanging out with you. I just wish he was in his own bed, not using me, but who am I to complain?
He looks too comfortable at the moment.
Yeah, he is having a great time.
What does he think about the race so far, like the different strategies we got with pack racing going on?
I don't think he's thinking a lot about anything, to be honest with you. Probably thinking about if he likes salmon-flavored cat food better or beef-flavored cat food.
One thing I will say that I'm noticing with the timing, as okay, no, it's a changing position. Thought more drivers coming down to pit lane. Group 3 is catching Group 2. They've been making some really good time the last couple laps, and they brought that gap down. They were, I think, around 8 seconds behind at one point. Now, gap difference between them is 3.5 and closing in quick. So we could have this one big super group in the middle here, all chasing leaders, but they're 20 seconds behind. This is the gaps you would see in like the 60s.
Oh. Pit stops, and here comes that third group into pit lane, Finian, right on cue. They were gaining some time, but now they're going to come on down to pit road and get some service.
Yeah, imagining getting everyone 4 tires and gas. Big thing, though, is make sure you get in your stall properly. That's the last thing that everyone practices around at super speedways. Everyone shoots through their stall. And the big thing here is if you shoot through your stall and you miss, you are going to be out of a group, and you're going to be by yourself. Potentially go lap down.
Especially under green flag conditions. And
They're the leaders in the background.
Yep, they're coming in the pit. You don't want to speed on pit road either. We've seen guys do this in the past where they overslide going into pit road, get into other cars, and then they get caught speeding, not to mention having to maintain speed and then sliding into your box correctly rather than oversliding.
The leaders are in. That second group is going to go by. And Mason Kane will now lead this race.
accuracy when they are planning to come on down. I imagine they're going to be the next couple laps. They're running really long on their fuel.
Yeah, 41 laps.
They give or take a few because of the caution laps.
Good point.
I would imagine they'd come in this time. Just so they're not too far off cycle. Or off sequence. Whoa! Big moment for Hart's in the 30.
And here they come.
Going, spreading out, fanning out, making sure they don't hit anyone and into their stalls. And it looks like everyone's been behaving. I haven't seen anyone get bobbed for speeding.
Yeah, that would really mess up your day. I mean, we might get a caution closer to the end of this race, but we haven't had a yellow in, let's see, about 40 minutes. So it's been a long time. Now we'll see where we should cycle back around. And we already are cycled. Leaders are making their way through turns 1 and 2.
They blitz past the start-finish line with everyone down on pit lane. They got a huge lead to work with. Travis Beckner now just coming out, currently sitting in 5th. They're getting up to speed.
The Nichols brothers are still in pit road.
And then now the next group is going to be led by Brad Slaughter. That was Group 3. They're catching up to Group 2 coming out of the pits now.
Yeah, this is going to turn into one big mega group, I think. Yeah, they're about 3.6 back and closing, so this should close these two groups back up. But weren't these cars were one larger group before? At least Brad Slaughter was a part of it.
I think he might have switched. I think a couple of drivers lost, drop from the second group to the third one due to some shenanigans.
Got bad news, more smoke from the 33 car. Oh man, it's really coming out now. Is that out the exhaust? Is that out the exhaust pipes? Oh no, it's out the cockpit.
It's out his exhaust pipes.
Yeah, well, the front, is that out of the header or out of the tailpipe? Oh man, that's good. Been relatively quiet over watching on the driver cameras tonight. Everyone's just kind of focused on executing this. Again, all of this goes back to the almost crash we had on lap 13. Remember back this?
Oh yeah,
Tommy Scott and Skylar Shackelford. This is what split the field up into 3 distinct groups, and it has been, what, 40 laps since then almost?
Yep, and it's been ticking them off. Only a handful of minor incidents here and there, otherwise completely clean.
Lap traffic for the leaders here, Hunter, is we're going to get by the 32 of Vincent Cortez.
Yeah, the longer we go without having a caution and everyone being spread out, would be interesting to look at fuel strategy here. Is these guys are going to have to make at least one more stop, but going to be interesting to see who can stretch it the furthest, if that's the goal that they want to reach, or if they just want to come in as soon as they reach within their fuel window.
Well, if they wanted to come in as soon as they reach the window, they'd be in the next 5 laps. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they'll go a little deeper and just make sure that they're good, especially with an overtime. So I think the earliest you'd see cars would be lap 60 or so, but even that would be very early. Even David Weishart, that'd only be a 20-lap run. So I'd expect to see more pit stops probably around the lap 70 to 75 mark, if I had to guess. Split it in half.
Yeah, good to see guys just run it out to the end. It's not, you don't really have to split it in 2. It's not like you're planning for the tires. You don't really need tires.
Well, it's been a long green flag race. Typically, we bring you some chit-chatter about the partners and people that make area happen during the yellow flag periods, but without one of those guaranteed. Let's get through some of those. We've had a couple opportunities to look at some replays tonight provided by SimWrap Market. Make sure you head over to simwrapmarket.com for custom iRacing paint scheme templates that are simple and easy to use, so it keeps you more focused on the racetrack. And, of course, we've got a couple of Rick's Hot Sauce cars here in the field. And the 7's running the SimWrap Market car tonight, but he will be running the paint scheme that looks a lot like the 64s another night. That 64 is what I'm looking for. Where's Ed Robertson on track? 10th. And, of course, he's got the Rick's Hot Sauce car. Be sure to check out rickshotsauce.com for some of the best hot sauces made locally in South Florida. Try the Loxahatchee Classic, Golden Garlic, Palm Beach Pineapple, or South Beach Heat. Follow the Rick's Hot Sauce Rookie of the Year battle in the Area Cup Series and see which driver will take home that $100 prize as the highest finishing rookie in the point standings. There. As Vince Welts would say, we got some bills to pay. Bills paid. And this will be a 40-lap to go mark this time through, so you're good on fuel. If you want to come down now, you could. I just don't know why you would do that.
Blake Hopp just had an issue. I heard something went down. I was trying to find who it was.
Whoa.
Oh, and might have another issue. He's getting lapped. He was off with the 50 case of Lacatus in turn 2.
Well, that was the last time around. Oh, yeah, there it is. It was actually the 71. Oh, no, it was with Lacatus. You're right.
Yeah, Newbigin right in behind him. Not sure what went down here.
Bump.
Offset bump, and then,
Oh, he came up.
Ooh, got in the wall after that, too. I think he's trying to chase the bumper of the 50 across the road here on exit. Cottis goes wide, and Hop tries to, just comes up the racetrack, and that was not quite a door that was left open, and took a bad hop on the runoff, and bam, into the wall.
Yeah, I heard something, I think Connor Kresick, I heard him, why I knew this happened, I just said, you could have stopped on track, and I was like, who almost stopped on track?
And here comes the 73 of Jake Nichols. He is a lap down right now.
Yeah, he's not having the best of runs.
Oh, Blaze McKinney's right here as well. And Jake Nichols just slotted himself right behind Skylar Shackelford, who's in the free pass position. But notice how Seth Knoll has dropped. He's a lead lap car. He's dropped behind Jake Nichols, behind Skylar Shackelford here. A couple teammates that are in this lead pack maybe helping their teammates along who are a lap down or so. But there is a free pass battle going on within this group between the 73 and the 88. They're going at it right now.
Yeah,
It's always the race within the race.
Well, this is going to hurt if these guys are doing this battle. It's separating the one from the rest of the group, and that's not going to benefit these front three. They're going to slow down.
There was another incident on the back straightaway. He's going down. Ricky Springer almost went flying around. Well, he did go kind of around, but didn't stop.
Off the nose of, who's that?
Bondurant.
Oh. Yeah, that was
control sleeping on that.
Well, I think he was just arguing over space with the 11 here. Let's see how the 11 got to the inside. 51 opens the door. 11 sees the door open, kind of gets shoved through it. It's fully alongside, and maybe
a little bit of no-co, but nonetheless still gave too much of a gap there.
Yeah, that was tight up. Is it worth it for wherever they were? Probably not. But 51 could have left space too, but either way, we'll stay green. Everyone was hoping for that to be a yellow, but they are not going to get that.
Around 25th on the racetrack.
We are just clicking laps away here at Talladega. And Connor Horn, again, we're going to pull up laps led for you on the left-hand side of the screen. 19 laps led for Connor Horn, which I think is a race high from anybody. Seth Knoll at 14 laps led. Justin Bondurant had just come. Well, he's just going to go a lap down now as he tucks in behind.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look here and just see kind of where everyone's running, because again, Blaze McKinney, he's one of those drivers that if he finishes decent, he will be in. Question is, what's considered decent here? Just take a look at the points. He's not even. Oh no, where is? Oh wait, he's listed as locked in. However, on the points, he is 18th in points. And it really depends. He's currently running in 26. There's a couple drivers behind him in the points that are running ahead of him in the race. So it's going to be a big question mark. You're going to have to kind of wait till everyone's tallied up to see where he's going to fall. And I'm sure he's just sitting there frustrated because there's nothing he can really do at this point.
Yeah, nothing you can do, along with guys like Senesac, Newbigging, Harts that are trying to drive their way in. Even Anna Sogak, who recovered nicely after being involved in an early wreck, running 11th on the track right now. But yeah, gonna want something different to go their way if they want to have a shot at contending for the playoffs for certain. As there is the 609 guys of Jeremy Miller and Connor Horn. Miller still looking for his first win of the season. Had a good run going at Daytona. And is sitting pretty comfortable in the points right now, although it's close.
You might want to take a look at Mason Kane. He's catching up on slower cars that are split wide in front of him.
Where is he? Fifth. Here we go. Gosh, this big, tall column of numbers. Here we go, splitting. That's the 32 of Vincent Cortez and the 71 of Newbegin, and he's going to drag that second group around the outside of both of them.
Yeah, and that split the needle with Casey Lacatas, who went up high, and it looks like everyone's going to snake their way on through. And the big thing, too, that's that third pack that you see right in behind there now, just catching the lap traffic, and essentially they are officially one gigantic group in the middle of the field.
Tommy Scott rejoining this group, and he's going to have a big head of steam. We'll see if he does anything with it or if he's going to stay put. Looks like he'll do the latter. James Scioli's in this pack, but 2 laps down. Big check up into turn 3, and that might create a bit of a stack up here. And here comes Bryce Senesack with a big run. Yeah, holy cow.
Yeah, everyone's on like 180 miles an hour. Bryce Senesack trying to take advantage of the situation.
I mean, if we get a caution now, I mean, we're going to be flipping tables over. It's going to be so wild.
Flipping more than tables.
Yeah, probably race cars, too. I mean, you restart with 30 laps to go, it's pandemonium. But for now, we're still clicking laps off. All the while, the leaders are running much faster. That gap now. Ooh, that was sketchy.
Pulling out a line, Kwame Scott, and trying to get up near the front. Mason Kane up near the top, splitting it 3 wide. He decided he didn't want to wait. Kwame wants to go, and he's got some help in behind.
Mason Kane letting everybody go on that outside lane, and now Kwame Scott up to 5th in this pack that's spread out to 3 wide now as Kane still falls back.
Yeah, got sucker hold there, and he's going to have to sit this one out for a bit.
Whoa!
Cars slicing and dicing.
Evasher Jr. gave a pretty questionable bump to the back. Kwame Scott almost turned him around.
Bryce Senesack's going to get sucker hold now. Brad Slaughter takes it to the high side, but no, Slaughter gets shoved out. All right, then.
Getting racy back here.
Yeah, the rules of engagement have been established.
Well, I mean, what's the worst thing that could happen? If anything, if these guys wreck, it's a benefit, right? Because you can't get back up to the leaders.
You want to wreck, you don't want to be in the wreck.
Then was arm itchy at 200 miles an hour?
I said that earlier.
Mine is itchy at 30.
Whoa. You know, that's called the call of the void.
Is it?
When you're driving along and you like see a bridge, you're like, what if I just drove off it right now? there's a name for that phenomenon, and it's called the call of the void. Like, what if you just turned into head-on traffic? Yeah. And is that not the most terrifying thing you've heard of today?
Yeah.
Is that what Kevin LePage had?
Yes.
Yeah, that 5 minute he's got.
They
nothing
couldn't
to do
see a
today.
bright yellow race car coming on the racetrack.
Watch the blend line. My first time driving on a racetrack was at Blackhawk Farms in Illinois. And I left pit lane in my FRS, and my boss, Adam Jabay, was driving out behind me. And he was so excited to chase me on my first laps on a racetrack that he blew the blend line and got a black flag immediately. At his own track day, got a black flag for blowing the blend line because he was excited to chase me. And I had no idea about it until I came back in and he told me all about it. But what a fun time. We're going to be 30 laps to go this time, guys, and we're going to start the countdown in 10 laps. And now I'm looking at my pit window and thinking, hey, maybe I come down in 5 or 6 laps, Finney, and split this run equally in half and drive from there to the end. And the leaders they can't quite pit for free, but they're getting pretty close to that state.
I don't know. I feel like the best thing I've found at the Super Speedway is because, the benefit from cutting a run in half, typically on normal ovals, is you pit in half, you get the fresh tires, you don't get to utilize them to their best and get the fastest lap times. I mean, of course, on a super speedway, not nearly as much of a concern, especially in the next-gen cars. So I think the best thing for these guys to do would just be to stay out there, run the tank dry, because if a caution comes out, they'll lose that. They'll lose the lead definitively. So I don't know.
Good point. We're running. The entire ticker is purple. Everyone running on the racetrack is running their best lap at the moment. And
I think that's more of a glitch in ATV. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, everyone's running 2-3 seconds faster. Well, happy ads.
Dang it, dude! I was excited. I was looking at the .4 and .3, not the miles an hour, but they are going quick.
Yeah. They are going quick. Not as quick as this leading group, because they've been setting the pace of the field now 23 seconds ahead of everyone else. This is really, like I said earlier, this gaps you see in the 1960s.
Yeah,
guys winning by.
Right now, so basically, Kwame Scott is where is he at? He's leaving turn 2. The leaders are on the other side of the racetrack here, entering the tri-oval. So it's effectively a half-lap lead.
Oh, Justin Anasoga had a big wipeout a lap ago.
No, man.
Keep doing this sneakily.
Well, because everyone's running, it's hard to notice someone.
Holy cow!
Oh man,
that was a big wreck.
Yeah, and he just stayed off the racetrack, so it didn't trigger the caution.
Yeah, Casey Lakatos had a big head of steam, and Rafe Slate just shoved him right into Anisogak, and pow, that's a huge impact. Holy cow. That is a wake-up call.
Well, got turned by a fellow friend from outside. Is Justin, sorry, it was Casey Lakatos that hit him.
That is ugly. That car had a call on the void, huh?
Yeah, that's really unfortunate for the Rick's Hot Sauce car. Not probably the spicy end he would have been hoping for.
No. Saw that come.
Speaking of which,
I already did that one.
Oh, you did already? Yeah. So much I've been paying attention.
I'll say it again. Buy Rick's Hot Sauce. RicksHotSauce.com.
It would have been perfectly timed because it was on lap 67 too.
Well, ahead of the game, guys. Like I said, we broadcast Le Mans races, so the official broadcaster of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. I'm about to get sued.
Yeah. you need to watch yourself, especially because you're in the industry as well.
Well, you know, nobody watches my stuff. Are you kidding?
Waiting for the announcement tomorrow. That's where it is.
Yeah.
Sad to announce the departure of Kyle Heyer for making erroneous comments.
They wouldn't even. I'm not even high enough on the totem pole to get my own article for getting fired. So I wouldn't need. I just drop off the list of those that are coming to events in the emails. That's all that would happen. Like, well, what happened to Kyle? You know, they could honestly probably murder me and bury me in the woods somewhere, and no one would know.
Don't give people ideas.
Yes. Don't give your enemies ideas.
The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Look at this little battle here. Edward Scherer Jr. jumped up to the outside with Kwame Scott giving him a push around Justin Bondurant and the 51. I love how they had the run in earlier. Now they're work together. That was a little dicey. There goes just.
Oh no, that was.
Oh, he's back.
Ricky Springer almost again.
That was almost a disaster.
I heard Connor Krasik on the radio. He's like, "Why did you save it?"
Yeah, right there. Guys, all of this green flag running was because we narrowly avoided what could have been a 50-car wreck in a 30-car race on lap 13.
I am genuinely surprised considering how many we've gotten close to having a caution several times. As it hasn't really occurred, as the leading group has inherited more drivers to their cause.
Some Fazekas guys.
Fazekas having their own three-wide battle back here. Trading spot. I feel like I was a little ahead of the game when I said that issue on lap 13 was going to change the face of the race. I must say I was pretty on the nose with that one.
I thought it was going to last for maybe 30-ish laps, and then we get another caution to come out, but that kept going, keep chugging along.
This front group, though, has gotten more cars in it. So really it's the front three, and then it's Jake Nichols, and then it's Seth Nolan fourth, and the rest of this group is all cars that are a lap down. So this group has gained a lot of heavy weight, and they don't have the maneuverability that they had before. I think they were a bit quicker even. That one.
Yeah, but I mean, they're 23 seconds ahead.
They can't burn up their lead fitting. They got to be careful.
I severely doubt even they could probably get even more cars down the field, and they're at no risk of anyone getting back up. They probably get 30 cars in a group, and they're still well ahead of that second group. They've just not been able to get hooked up and chase them down.
The 7 Skyly is down pit road.
Yeah, 41 laps on his tank of fuel. That'd be the reason for that. So he'll make his last stop. He's 3 laps down anyway, so kind of not a great day for the 7.
Something to keep an eye on if we stay green to the checkered, because these guys are 25, 23 laps on their stint, and if the 7's pitting at 41 laps, it's going to be interesting to see if that's because he had damage to repair or just running out of fuel.
Yeah, there was a few that went a little longer than 41, I thought, in that previous run. Didn't they go 42 or 43 before they pit? But we didn't see anyone stretch it more than that. They don't need to anyway. I mean,
it's probably close to 40 laps, like actual, just taking out the caution laps. So.
Yeah, we're 22 from the end from now, so no one's going to try to make that, I don't think. 47,
no, I don't think so.
I don't think you're going to be able to do that. Also, if everyone can't do it, you're all going to pit anyway because you're running with a group of people that may or may not. So you might as well. But maybe someone tries to.
I mean, someone tries it.
You're in this front pack. Maybe.
I don't know if.
Got 23 seconds.
I don't know if anyone's even close to making it, but that's the thing. I'm trying to see like the lowest stint numbers for some drivers. I guess the Travis Beckner would be the highest driver with the least amount of laps run that could make it. It's still a big stretch though.
Still 46. And then there's a possibility of overtime as well. We've seen fuel saving at plate tracks before. This doesn't really look like anyone's tried.
No.
And we've had a couple close opportunities for a yellow. We've missed it every time. Just wonder if people are going to stop trying to save it because they know how much this race would change. And they know that really the only realistic drivers to win are one of those front 4. I got a 50-50 shot of winning this race with my picks from earlier. I love it.
I think the system's rigged.
I wrote the script well tonight.
See the second group led by Kwame Scott. I also want to point out for Kwame Scott, for those who have noticed, he is listed as the number 99 car. However, if you look on his paint scheme, he's the number 36 because he's currently running his Coca-Cola eNASCAR Coca-Cola Series paint scheme running for the TAR Esports in there. So best of luck to Kwame Scott in his endeavors for the 2024 season.
Yeah. Wrong livery, but we know the driver, so he is all right. But out of turn 4 now. He's got Edward Scherer Jr. He's also having a pretty good night in that 17. Big wiggle from the 06 of Spencer Burns.
Almost like he was trying to spin it out.
You driving for Michael Waltrip Racing?
Maybe he got a cat in the car.
Yeah. Well, I kicked mine off a little while ago. I needed to focus, so kicked him off. Oh, this is going to get tight out of turn 2. Whoa, that's got really spicy all of a sudden. Rafe Slate, Connor Okresic. Those Okresic's a front-running car, 10th place. Douglas Noob again, giving him a shot. This is getting really interesting here.
I think we're getting to the point, I think drivers saying, what's the worst that can happen?
That heat is anything but a solid rock the way he's moving all over the place in the 14 of Okresic.
Or like Igneous, am I right?
Rock joke.
A little flowing from left to right. That's making me nervous. I can't do that for very long.
Yeah, imagine being the 64 of Ed Robertson. You got this going on right next to you.
That was good. I just probably caught a line, drop back a couple.
Yeah. No thanks.
Crawlings.
Will not take it. That 8 is all over the place.
I was going to say, you saw Spencer Burns, he was wiggling along. Now the 8 also doing much of the same.
18 laps to go, guys. I would be thinking about making my pit stop pretty soon just so I have enough time to reestablish my position on the racetrack and have some time to race at the end. You come right back on the racetrack with 2 laps to go. You don't have a lot of time to plan your attack, do you? You want to know where you're at on that last lap. You don't want to just pit and find out. Who's the first to break?
Really, it's going to be who's a matter of first to break. You guys can still go about another 8 laps or so before they need to come on down. So we're getting close to that, close to the end here. It's going to be pit stops potentially with 10 laps, almost 5 laps to go.
Yeah, you don't want to make a mistake on pit road now, especially knowing that you're not going to make it to the end on fuel. You're going to have to get through pit road perfectly, not speed, not overdrive your pit box, and then not speed on exit. That's the most important part, especially when we're at this point. You got your final stop in, coming out of your pit box, and then you see that line, and then you gas it up just a bit too early. Could cost you the race.
It's told that the stripes on the 8 don't line up, and that is something worth investigating. To shame him into fixing that. Let's have a look. No, we won't be able to tell from here. Who's ahead of him?
The stripes with like the stripes on the hood, or
yeah, who's ahead of him? Who can? What car is that?
Lacamas?
The present.
No.
Oh yeah. Straight to jail. Yeah, see right there above the bow tie? Well, whoop, right there. Thanks. Thanks, Connor. Yeah, front 4 now 23 seconds ahead. What does that look like as far as...
Whoa!
What?
Probably moving out of the line.
Yeah, moving out of the line almost looked like it was about to get turned up the racetrack.
I don't know why I said that. So, what?
It's like, oh, come on. I won't tell you what's going on.
Who dare speak? A little bobbling and wobbling there with the 71 and Vincent Cortez.
Also, first to bite down on pit lane, David Weiser, Brett Slaughter on down.
They were the first last time as well. There they go.
They went about 38 laps. I wonder if these guys were going to do any tires or just do gas and go.
2 tires for each of them. I think we're probably going to see most drivers do that because you don't need a whole lot of gas to make it to the end.
So 15 laps to go, coming to 14. Wanted a reference for how long 23 seconds is, 24 seconds is now. Here's a look at it. Here's your lead pack. Start your clock. Start your clock. Oh, caution!
Oh, caution!
Conor Kresick.
Oh.
Wow.
And they hit a Slade. That's huge.
That is enormous. And after, what is that, over an hour of green flag racing? The caution is out, and this changes everything.
Yeah, this is interesting here on the back straightaway. Just a huge stack up.
14 gets turned into the wall. Ricky Springer comes sailing through there. But they just get hung up together in this big stack up behind the 32 and 71, and Kresick ends up being the sacrificial lamb. That's a big hit there to the outside wall there, and the 8 gets some damage as well.
Yeah, I think going to the 8 might have taken more damage than the 14 in that wreck, but one thing's for certain, if you've fallen asleep for this race,
wake up!
up.
Well, unfortunately, Brad Slaughter Jr. and David Weishart are a lap down because they pit before the yellow. Now,
they should be able to get the wave around.
Yeah, but they're still going to be tail of the field.
I mean,
they could have led this race had they been close enough to the leaders to make their pit stop for free, but without going a lap down. But basically, no one was close enough to the leaders to do that.
There's a lot of guys that are a lap down. They might take the wave around too.
Watching Ghost.
My cat is sitting on my mouse pad, and I have no place to move my mouse. He really wants to hang out. All right, pit stop time. Fuel only, guys? What do you think?
I mean, yeah, probably going to take fuel only. Keep that track position. We're only going to have the top 17 drivers coming to pit. Everyone else is a lap down or more. There are a lot of cars lap down, as Hunter mentioned, as the cat's taking a look at the timing screen, I assume.
Yeah. And,
I wonder who he picked to win this race.
Well, look how covered in cat hair I am from him.
Yeah, I was going to say that's a lot. That's a lot of hair.
Did not look like that a little while ago. Cars on pit lane. I can't move my mouse. You need to move, bud.
He's like, no, I want to look at Jeremy Miller coming for this pit stop.
Okay. Okay. Well. Okay. Don't you stay over there. Did you hear the mute just now?
No, I did not.
No one on broadcast can hear that. Cars rolling off pit lane, and Cameron Hearn is going to win the race off pit road. Seth Knoll, Connor Horn, and Jeremy Miller. All their lead that they had worked all race to get is now gone.
Was that Cameron Hearn's first lap lead?
Must have been. Yep.
Yeah.
I know he was very quiet in that leading group. I almost forgot that he was in that group with Seth Knoll, Connor Horn, Jeremy Miller, because he just constantly stayed out of it and was kind of riding around hoping for the best.
Rafe Slate was involved in that most recent collision, but he was involved in another incident earlier. We should go back and have a look at that one again. This is lap 44, out of turn 4, off the nose of the 28. It's turned, bounced off the fence, kept it straight, and carried on. That put him in the position to be nose to tail with Connor O'Kresick a little bit later, and they tangle. Now O'Kresick's on pit lane getting some damage repair. So, there's a lot of drivers without yellow or green up in that top 10, Hunter. This could make things interesting for the playoff picture.
Oh, absolutely. Guys like Senesac that needed this caution. Ed Shearer Jr., all the guys in yellow pretty much needed this caution to happen, other than the 30 of Jeremy Miller because he was, kind of up front. But a lot of these guys really needed that caution to happen. And even guys that are in white that are just racing to win, like Cameron Hearn, who's in the lead, Spencer Burns, Kwame Scott, Ed Robertson, even Jacob Bell, gives these guys a fighting chance to win at Talladega and possibly get the take a playoff spot away from some of the guys in yellow.
Seth Knoll. Oh, Cameron Hearn's back down on pit lane, guys.
Interesting.
Yeah, very. I mean, there's a lot of wave around cars too, so he's going to drop down the field. Did he not get fuel in the car last time?
I've just done that to get a lap lead.
I have no clue.
Yeah, but why would?
Anyway. I'm not gonna question it because a big one could happen right in front of him. Could scoot by.
I'll question that. I mean, he was up in that front pack of 4 cars for 50 laps. How did he not get a lap lead then? Yeah, that was a very weird choice. I mean,
also, Brent Slaughter's got a black flag.
Oh man.
Don't know what for.
Where was the 4's not even?
No,
he's way out. He's out of it. He's 27 points.
So why does the point matter then?
I don't know.
It's always good to have a bonus point.
Maybe. How about it's always good to hold a trophy? I don't get that.
I have no clue. Maybe he senses something gonna go down up ahead.
He might be playing chess, and the rest of them are playing checkers.
Also, how about Spencer Burns, who somehow ends up back in third? Remember, he started second. He got a black flag on the first lap, had to serve it under green. That first caution helped him get back, but he was never quite able to get back near the front. But here he is now returning to the front rows. Might have a shot here at making something happen. In fact, everyone in behind now finally has a shot at getting back at the leaders.
Yeah,
after chasing them, the top 4 for 70 laps.
Yeah, there's.
Tell you what, that 36 of Kwame Scott blinking in and out, that's going to be an issue for those on the bottom.
Sure will. We have 24 cars on the lead lap. We've got another 6 or 7 that are 1 lap down. We're going to have 10 laps to go. Will we get another caution? Almost certainly, so it's going to jumble the field up once again. My only other comment on the Hearn situation is if he's playing chess and everyone else is playing checkers, problem is we're giving a trophy to the people playing checkers tonight, so we'll see how things pan out, but, they don't give you points in basketball for showing up with a hula hoop, so. 10 laps to go from the Talladega race here, the HelloFresh 250. Got the last 10 laps and 26 miles about to kick off. There they go across the start-finish line. Seth Knoll leads with the help from the 06 of Spencer Burns. Horn and Miller packed up, paired up on the bottom.
Yeah, he was So many drivers now back in this. They're going to be aggressive. There is Mason Kane, speaking of which, going in the outside lane by himself. There's the 28 Travis Beckner jumping up to join him up there. Make that charge start.
Seth Knoll getting the bump from Spencer Burns down the backstretch with Ed Robertson closing in, but on the bottom it's the 609 guys of Connor Horn, Jeremy Miller, Kwame Scott still in the bumper. 3 wide behind him though.
Yeah, this is a mess out of turn 4. We haven't seen this racing since the first 15 laps of the race. We had a couple of cautions in the first 15 laps of this race. Green from 13 on, and now 9 laps to go. Knoll and Horn side by each across the front straightaway here. Who's going to lead this lap? Give it to Knoll by a nose.
Travis Beckner jumping out of lane, trying to take advantage. Going to put Reinhardt in the sucker hole, and he's going to drop down back through the order. Spencer Burns leading the charge on the outside lane, and he's going to get help from Ed Robertson. In behind, no! Ed Robertson going to be turning the wall.
Bar slip and slide, and there goes the 4. He's going to crash into the 5, and there they go into the wall, and caution,
no caution. There's a caution.
Will come out. Blaze McKinney's in it as well. And junk on the back straightaway. There's the 87.
Oh, that is not what Blaze McKinney needed.
So, how'd that strategy go for the 4 there? I don't understand it. But back a little further and watch this one in slow-mo to see how it started here. So the 64 goes to jump to the outside of Burns. And then is that Beckner in behind him here? Yeah, there goes the 64. It's turned off the nose of the 28. 64 goes in the wall, then Mason Kane turns left, grabs the 4, and then sets off the billiards down the back straightaway. McKinney and the 88 as well. Shackelford. Oof, that's a big hit there. Big mess. And we're going to have only a couple laps left to go. There's the 4. What's that fun Frisbee game? Can Jam.
By what? I've never heard of that.
Where you're throwing...
You've never heard of Can Jam?
Throwing a Frisbee into a trash can. I think you can throw this thing right down there with it.
Oh, that's what... Okay, I didn't realize the thing had a name.
Yep, that thing.
I didn't know I had a name like Can Jam. That's awesome.
Oh, it's a great summer activity.
Can Jam is awesome.
Well, I'm going to drop some facts for you guys. So the average amount of yellows we've had at Talladega, about 4. So we're at 3 at the moment. Average last caution was around 9 to go, which that's exactly when the last caution happened. The last time we had a finish under green came from a last lap pass in Season 3 from Ricky Springer. And in the last 2 races here, Season 3 and Season 4 have gone into overtime.
28
is that Beckner getting the EOL?
Yeah. Yeah, I think we could expect some overtime tonight. You know, everyone's been waiting around for all the action. They didn't get to pack it in the other 87 laps of the 88 that we've run.
So I think while we're under caution here, I think it would be a good idea to look at the point situation for some of these drivers, notably Blaze McKinney, who was involved in this last wreck. So Blaze put a lap down, wasn't able to get a lap back as he came into pit to get some fuel, finish this race off, and now he's stuck in 25th, which seems like a bad situation. However, a lot of the guys around him are not doing better. You know, looking at the guys that could potentially pass him. Next guy behind him, Scal Shackelford, he's down in 32nd, 3 laps down, getting repairs. He's effectively out of the race. Dom DeLeo not doing a whole lot better. He's currently sitting 17th at the moment. Connor Okrasic is in 20th. And I think that's all really the drivers that can potentially pass him. And then I'm trying to look and see if he's passing anyone up ahead. He will pass, I think, Justin Anisogak in the points, because Anisogak's way down in 35th. So it's kind of up in the air for McKinney. I think even for him, he's probably just as confused as where he's running in the points.
McKinney or McKitty?
I am covered in cat hair right now. I mean, he is just shedding. Can't see it, but he is shedding so much.
Like, is there like a tool for that? Like we can kind of like.
Yeah, it's
a lint roller.
There you go. Well, I mean, I feel like a lint roller will get.
He
really
thinks
quick.
that this is the most comfortable thing ever right now.
Up is.
I mean, look at this. This is what
he looks very peaceful.
Yeah, he's doing great. I would like to use both my arms for the next 6 laps, so I'm gonna have to put him back down.
You haven't like learned to like go around your shoulders or not?
Like shit,
go around the back of your neck.
Well, excuse me. Sit on top of my shoulders instead of yeah, that'd be cool.
No, like wrap himself around the back of your neck.
Yeah, I would love
Like
to
a
do
neck
that.
pillow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be really cool if he could do that, but he has not figured. He did that once. But so we're hearing that Hearn had under-fueled, so that is why he had. That makes more sense. It didn't seem intentional to me to do what he had done. That's unfortunate.
How badly did he under fuel? They didn't need that much fuel.
Maybe he just didn't put it in the first place.
Guess so. But that's going to cost him dearly. He's down 26th. He is a lap down.
So 1 to green. We're going to have a 5-lap run to the end. If 10 wasn't exciting, let's pack it into 5. Just over 10 miles.
The big one to watch here is also to Jeremy Miller. He can potentially point his way into the playoffs because Casey Lakatos, who is one of the drivers near the front, he is currently sitting 21st. Casey was able to actually get one of his laps back. So he's down 21st. Casey has a chance to rebound. So it's really effectively between him and Jeremy Miller potentially for that final spot, as well as everyone else down there. So it's going to be between Lakatos, Miller, Senizak, Douglas Newbing, Ryan Hartz, all in the mix for that final playoff spot. There's still a lot of racing left. There's only 5 laps to go, but I have a feeling this might not be the last caution we see.
You see in sim with Connor Horn discussing things with the 609 guys, and look at the third row, third car on the outside. Jacob Bell always somehow finds his way up towards the front. He hasn't been seen all race long. And he's sitting here in a shot to win with none other than Jake Nichols behind him. So we might have some Jake and Bake action here in the last 5 laps.
Where does he come from? I mean, he's been running in the back all day long. Started 27th. I mean, he's run as high as 6th, but that's right here, right now. So
yeah, I was going to say he really did come out of nowhere in those later going. I mean, hey, it matters where you are at the end of this thing. So we'll see what Jake can do. Jacob Bell can do. Hopefully, for his sake, it's going to be not involving a controversy where the caution comes out and right at the end and ends up losing out on it.
5 laps to go here in the HelloFresh 250 from Talladega. You're watching Sim TV with Kyle Heyer, Finney DeCuna, and Hunter Sleppy. Here we go. Stack up on the inside lane on the restart. And here we go. Look at the run from somebody in the outside lane. Is that the 22? It is, to Leo.
He stepped out, I think, was trying to avoid maybe a stack up or maybe seeing if anyone was getting up a run, but he's going to go back in line as everyone still gets up to speed. Jeremy Miller pushing hard on Connor Horn. You can bet that Connor Horn trying to see if he can help his teammate make it on through into the playoffs. There's Douglas Newbing, and he's, or sorry, not Doug. Is that Douglas
the 71. But now it's
he's
the 73.
trying to make something happen here.
There we see Connor Horn leading down the backstretch. Jeremy Miller, and now one of them goes from top to middle. Going to stack up that inside lane, actually middle lane. Inside lane is the one that's going. You got the first 5 cars breaking away, and then 3 wide behind him.
Oh, slide.
Oh, spin! Matthew Bell.
He'll save it. They stay green. Coming to 4 laps to go. Connor Horn on the nose of Miller. They almost came together.
Ooh, Macy Kane almost got turned off the one of Seth Knoll, who was riding on that top lane. Third was trying to block the run, couldn't get it done, but Seth Knoll getting a huge push from Jacob Bell in that top lane. Spencer Burns tried to go up there to join him, but couldn't. Caution out in the background. I think Douglas Newbing around? No. Who is it? Blaze McKinney around.
And the 32 and the 51. Couple cars down here. This is going to put us into overtime. And whoops.
You hit in the back from Vincent Cortez.
Cortez kind of chases him across the racetrack here and then just kind of drove through the right rear and tangled all 4 of those cars. Man, the 51 just got blindsided there. He had no idea what was happening.
Ricky's not been having the best of days here.
No, can't imagine he would be stoked about that one either. He just got hooked. I mean, this is what it looked like from inside the cockpit. Bam! I mean, there's nothing you can do. And this goes back to controlling your own destiny. You just can't.
Yeah, this also makes it interesting, too, because Ricky is not locked in. He's only 22 points above the cutoff line. There's some other guys further down the order, guys like Jeremy Miller, who are running really well at the moment. So that's going to push him closer to that cutoff line. And even for that matter, Matthew Bell also having a mediocre run in 23rd. So there's going to be a lot on the line here, whether drivers know it or not.
Well, this is interesting because the first two cars, Horn and Miller, they are a part of 609 Motorsports. Then third and fourth, Shearer Jr. and Cedric Hunter, Lucky Duck Motorsports. So this should be interesting into how this all plays out because Horn's not going to let off, or he's not going to let off so he can let Miller let, or it's the other way around. It's going to be interesting to see how the teammates are going to work with each other when they're sitting in the first two rows.
Connor Horn probably scheming here a bit. Planning their attack. I mean, you can only plan so far because as soon as you restart, all the plans go out the window. But Connor Horn does have 2 wins, one back at Atlanta, the other back at Darlington. And the Darlington win kind of came out of nowhere, if I recall. The Atlanta win, he was up front for a little while, but this one, he's been up front all day long. He's led the most laps of anybody, I believe, at 25 now. And I know that Talladega's a wild card, but, man, you lead 25 laps, you feel like you deserve it.
Yeah, and I think even then, I don't think they're in a situation where they would have to force Jeremy Miller to win. I think as long as Miller finishes in the top 5, I think he should be set to point his way in because he was only 3 points behind Lakatos coming into tonight. So I think as far as that's concerned, I think Miller should pass someone to break inside the top 12. Again, as long as he makes it to the finish around where he is running at the moment. So I think we might see Connor maybe try to help out Miller, maybe be a rear gunner, if anything.
I think Miller would pass Lakatos for the time being, and maybe Matthew Bell.
That's what I would think as well. But you never quite know, especially with a lot of race cars left to go and still one restart to be had. We've seen some crazy finishes at Talladega.
Have we? Wouldn't know anything about that. There's the HelloFresh 250 here from Talladega, and it's now going to be the HelloFresh 255.
I was going to say, you fixed it, and now it's incorrect. With
I do.
Restart.
But this really just needs to be a graphic that we run in ATVO where it has a live lap
and
counter.
just add.
Yeah, it just adds the mileage. The HelloFresh 255.26. I can do that. This wouldn't be that hard. That would be also pretty funny. Daytona 502.5. I will advocate for overtime in some instances, but as much as we yelled at IMSA for being a lap early with the finish, how many Daytona 500s have actually been Daytona 510s? And the real winner should have won 10 laps earlier.
Yes.
They got to 500 miles first. I think Kyle Busch has done that at least once, where he led at the 500-mile mark.
I think that was last year.
Was it? Might have been. I think you're right.
I wonder if he'll ever finally get one of those.
No. Some of the NASCAR's best drivers will never get one, and that's just part of it. Can't have it all. You always got to be missing something. He's won championships. He's got every record in the books, but he's going to not have a 500 the same way that Tony Stewart did that. He won at Daytona every which way except for the 500. You're not allowed to have everything. That's NASCAR's rule.
There's the last 3 Daytona 500 winners have all been long shots, like plus 2,000 or plus 3,000 and more.
Look, here's an example. You can have the looks. You can have a famous dad, but it means you don't have any personality, and that's if you're a Chase Elliott fan.
Wow.
I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. Met Chase. He's a very nice man, but
He like talking to a pile of cardboard.
Well.
I mean, man flies a plane. I feel like that's
so
definitely
that's the thing.
Point.
Our contact at Valvoline, who's a Grid Life sponsor, was telling me about that. Where Chase won't publicly share it, but he pulled a couple people aside at a trade show one time, was showing him how he flew to the event and does aerobatic stuff, and it's like you would never know, but you just got to talk about it more. Bronson Safford said Jimmy Johnson would like to talk, but yeah, Jimmy Johnson sucked at road courses, so. Like I said, there's always something that you're not good at. Always something.
Well, we're going to find out here who's good at Talladega because we got our final restart here. 2 laps to decide this thing.
Fingers crossed here that we get a green flag finish.
Yeah, I after all this green flag running, it would be a treat to get a photo finish But let's see what happens. 2 teammates on the front row. That's good news, but you can't plan a finish like that. So no matter how many times they've rehearsed this in their heads, it's probably going to go different by the time they get to turn 1. Here we go. In overtime, working lap number 94. This would have been coming to the checkers, but we got 2 more to go in the HelloFresh 250. Connor Horn, Jeremy Miller, and the 609 Motorsports crew trying to get it done at Talladega. Green flag back in the air. 2 to go from the big track.
Well, Michael Curran and some more cars, Dom DeLeo jumping out of line immediately on the restart. Everyone's bumping each other, trying to get going. They're immediately 3 wide before we can get to turn 1.
Not sure if they're going to be able to make it to the white flag, but the 609 Motorsports teammates door-to-door in turn 2 for the lead. Connor Horn's got a car length advantage over his teammate Jeremy Miller as they fan out 3 deep down the back.
Down the back straightaway for the final time. Connor Horn leads for a moment. Here's the 13 of Cedric Hunter. He's going to go to the outside. The important bit is lead right now, because if the caution comes out, the race would be over. The 13's getting a big shove from the 24, but we're line of stern, nose to tail. It's Horn out front as the field storms through 3 and 4, Finian.
Yeah, I was going to say, Jeremy Miller's been swallowed up by the field. He's currently 6th in the middle lane, nowhere to go at the moment. Trying to see if he can get back to the front here. Here we go, coming through the trial. Do we make it on through? White flag in the air, and they come across the line. We are finishing this thing under green.
1 lap to go. Connor Horn leads. Ed Shearer Jr. in second. He needs to win to get into the playoffs. In 17th in the standings right now. He's got the 06 of Spencer Burns behind. Meanwhile, they're almost 4 wide in turn 2, trying to make it work down the back.
They are 4 wide. Crash. Greg Mitchell's off to the inside. He's gone. Ryan Hartz actually is in the 3. He's got it back on the course. All the while, 3-car breakaway. Horn, Shearer Jr., and Spencer Burns through 3 and 4, Finian.
Yeah, all drivers that can use a win to get in, especially Ed Shearer Jr. He's going to have to find some way around this 42. A 3-car breakaway up in the front. Then you got Michael Curran, Dom DeLeo also trying to pursue him behind. Connor gets turned to the outside wall.
Connor Horn spins. Shearer Jr. and Burns are side by side for the finish. Here goes Michael Curran, going to make it 3 wide on the bottom. Shearer gets turned. Spencer Burns is going to win at Talladega.
And they pile up behind him. And there's oh my gosh.
Holy cow.
I bungled up that switching on the end there. Apologies for that, but Connor Horn.
Heartbreak for the 42 of Horn and especially the 17 of Ed Shearer Jr. He needed to win to get in. Horn made the block. They both go up in the outside wall, and then the 06 of Spencer Burns comes away with the win at the very last second.
Spencer Burns wins. We'll go back and look at it all in a moment. Here it is. Just went to throw the block. Reminds me of Kyle Busch, 2008 Coke Zero 400. Then right here, the 17 tried to throw the defense and just couldn't.
Here's the interesting thing, too, is that looking at Michael Curran, I'm curious how they're going to look at this if this was passing below the yellow line.
Yeah, maybe.
So I'm not sure Michael Curran's going to hold on to that 3rd place spot.
Well, I can see why he made the move. Shearer led too much room, though, on the bottom, and then it's just a matter of closing distance, and you take it or you don't, and in that case, Michael Curran took it, and it cost the 17 of Shearer Jr. spot in the playoffs.
Who was that tumbling at the back?
I think it was Skylar Nichols flipping at the finish.
The 41, he went for a... Oh, my...
Wow!
Gosh.
I mean, finished on all 4 wheels.
How did this look
Shades
from...
of Clint Worth.
Elliott Sadler.
Thought we would see it.
I think he passed underneath the camera.
Oh, man, I was hoping. Oh, my gosh. Travis Beckner just... I think he's...
Oh, my gosh. Who is that? Who is that?
I think it was Kwame Scott. I don't know.
They went catapulting into the infield. Holy cow.
Wow, that's a lot of tournament race cars right there. Oh boy.
Was that big... Hold on. Who came sailing by the grandstands at Mach 3?
I think it was Kwame Scott.
I think it was Kwame Scott in turn 1. Like, you're going to have to go for the turn 1 cameras.
Oh, okay. I'll just do this. Where's that Kwame car at? 99?
17th?
Oh, Oh, man.
Oh.
Wow. And then the 28 of Beckner. I think he took the lick of all time. We can get a... Where'd he end up? 23rd? How about this for Beckner? Gosh. I mean, watch this. Holy cow. Anyway, all that is besides the point. Let's have a look at our session results. Unofficially, Spencer Burns, Dom DeLeo, Michael Curhan, your podium. That was a wild race.
Yeah, it really was a wild race, and we're really going to have to wait till I get these, get everything sorted out. I think we actually do have the points updated, so we'll try to get sorted out who's going to be the actual ones making it and making it out. But how about Spencer Burns? He got a black flag on lap 1, had to serve a black flag under green, and somehow finds his way back to not only the front row, but being the first across the line there at the end. How about that? Dom DeLeo in second, Michael Curran third, Jacob Bell, again, coming out of nowhere, was nowhere near the front of the entire race, somehow gets top 5. Jumper Miller in 5th, that's going to be a great points finish for him. Seth Knoll, Neil Bigging, Everett Shear Jr., Garrett Grant, Dave Weiser. None of these guys, except for Jumper Miller, were in the top 10, I think, or anywhere near the top 10 until the last 15 laps or so.
Seth Knoll made a cameo appearance or two, but outside the top 10 guys that were so close to having their Talladega moment in the Cup Series. Got to go back. Looking at 11th, it's Matthew Bell. Casey Lakatos 12th. P12 on the track and P12 in the points. To my understanding, I think Casey Lakatos is just in on points for a playoff spot. Then you got Jake Nichols, Mason Kane, Senesac just missing out on that. And you got Mitchell, Kwame Scott, Cedric Hunter, Ryan Arts, and Connor Horn. Man, he had a great car all day long. Finishes all the way down in 20th.
Yeah, again, it reminds me so much of the Coke 600 or Coke 400 rather from Daytona back in 2008 or 2009 with Kyle Busch. You had a Tony Stewart. You have to throw the block. You have to do it, but it's a self-policing policy. You throw that block, sometimes you get crashed. Travis Beckner being airlifted to nearby hospital after that collision at the end of the race in that number 28 car. Hoping the best for him. Blaze McKinney, 29th in that 87. Wants to see how that pans out. Skylar Shackelford in 30th. Sounds like there might be some position shuffling. And yes, EOL for the 24 of Michael Curhan for turning the 17. That will be a penalty for Curhan, Finian.
Yeah, I'm not too terribly surprised from the way that went down. So that's going to mean that Jacob Bell will be in third, and that means he's going to talk to Jacob Bell. I don't think we have had a chance to talk to Jacob Bell on one of these, have we?
I think we've done it at least a couple
of
times.
Time. I think it might be a year ago or a season ago at this race where it was the last time we talked to him.
Well, either way, we're going to also talk to Michael Curhan because he was unofficially third, so we'll chat with him first. Actually, let's not do that because I don't know if he's been told that yet. I don't want to be the one to break the bad news. Jacob Bell is going to be P3 after Michael Curhan gets an EOL for driving below the yellow line and hooking around a competitor. You just somehow find your way up here every single plate race. This was a weird one, Jake. Of course, the crash, almost crashed at the start, mixed things up, and then 60 laps go by, we have a caution, we kind of reset everything and run to the end. What a chaotic race, but if there's one thing that stays the same, it's that 77 up at the front near the end.
Yeah, I was hoping that second to last restart would have been the final restart because I think we were lined up 6 and just fell back to, I think, 9th or 10th, and then we had another caution, so it put us further back on that final restart, and I knew that we were just too far back in 9th to get up there and do something, but overall, 3rd, 4th, I don't know where I'm going to end up being. Doesn't really make a difference. We are just trying to go out there and get a win, not in the playoff picture tonight, but tomorrow night we are the bubble guys, so it's definitely going to be more of an effort tomorrow night to try to finish up front and points race a little bit at Talladega, which is never really a good possibility to come out of there with a good points day unless you're trying to just get a little lucky. So hopefully luck's on our side again tomorrow night. Kind of need it more than tonight, but we'll take a 3rd, 4th wherever we end up and move on. I think our teammate Casey Lakatos did get it in the playoffs in his rookie season in the Cup Series, which is awesome if that's the case, but I know there's a lot of unofficial scoring still they got to go back and change, so we'll see. I know it's tight at that bubble, and we'll see who ends up making it in, but I think overall we're happy with our top 5.
And it will be a top 5 for the 77 regardless. Jake, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations, and we'll see you at the next couple races. Good luck to you tomorrow.
Absolutely. I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys broadcasting tonight. Hunter's been helping me out a ton as well and launched that new podcast. So shout out to Hunter. Hopefully everybody goes and checks that out. And then obviously Florida State Builders, Rick's Hot Sauce, Wax Electric, Blue Tip Pools, everybody that sponsors me and my team. And then obviously the league as well. So happy to have HelloFresh and Factor jumping on board. And hopefully the league is going to continue to grow as we wind down this season.
Thanks, Jacob. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Yep.
And another driver that just snuck from out of nowhere, Tom DeLeo, second in this race. Started 22nd, ran as low as 29th, and then all of a sudden, bam, you're P2. What? Is that your reaction? Because that's certainly mine.
Yeah, it just kind of worked out. We got shuffled back a little bit in that green flag stop. Took a wave around, hoping there would be a yellow. We got a yellow, got back on the lead lap, and then got the quick yellow again, got us back where we needed to be on fuel, and then that green flag, or the green-white checkered there, Michael Curhan and Greg Mitchell were both on the top there, my teammates at Fazekas Motorsports, and we said, we're just going to try and get on the top and go, and then found myself behind Michael. I just learned that he got the EOL and got scratched for third. I don't know what exactly he particularly did there, because I was just on his rear end, just pushing the whole time, just waiting for him to tell me where to go. But yeah, I'm just as shocked as you are that we ended up here, and it's good to be talking to you guys for the first time in a while.
Yeah, it certainly worked out that way. And these plate races, you can never really plan for anything. And I don't know that there's anybody left in that front group that was there for 60 laps. Jeremy Miller was awful close with a fifth place. But Dom, congratulations, snagging a second here tonight, and best of luck to you in the playoff races. Despite running outside of it, you're still going to be up there battling for wins, I'm sure.
Yeah, unfortunately, just like Talladega Nights, if you're not first, you're last. And I needed a win to get into the playoffs, but we're still trending in the right direction. Just want to send a couple quick shout-outs. First, Michael, Greg, Cameron, my teammates here at Fazekas. It's been fun racing with them in the Cup Series. I want to give a shout-out to everybody watching. My mom, Corin, first time watching. Maybe the good luck charm we needed here at the Fazekas Motorsports, number 22. Magyar Bank, new Ford Mustang. Shout out to all of our sponsors, Flash Picks, NAI DeLeo Bram, and Fame Construction. And thanks to you guys in the booth. Looking forward to next week. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it, Dom. Thanks so much. And unofficially, from third place, I think the positions have been adjusted now. Michael Curhan crossed the line in third, but may not get to keep it. Michael, unfortunate way to end things here tonight, but you had the run and helped Dom get up to second, but things didn't quite go to plan there through the tri-oval. Take us through it.
Good Lord, yeah, I don't know where to begin with all this. Yeah, I don't know if I'm staying in third or not after all that. Yeah, what a wild last two laps, last restart. Just was trying to push as hard as I could there on the high line, and then Dom and I got the run there towards the tri-oval. And I don't know, Dom was just shoving me as hard as he could, and I really had nowhere to go, and I was really just trying to bail and go down on the apron, trying not to hook Ed as he was coming down to block me. So who knows what's going to happen, how the final results are going to shake out, but I can't believe, if I do get to stay in third, I can't believe it finished third, given that I was a lap down before those kind of last rash of cautions happened. So, it's a lot going on.
Well, we'll see what happens, Michael. Best of luck to you, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle. Real quick, would like to thank Fazekas Motorsports, NAI DeLeo Bram, Fame Construction, Flash Picks, and all the guys at Fazekas Motorsports.
Thanks, Michael. Good luck to you.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Kyle.
And where did our winner go? I just had Spencer Burns. Where did he go? Lost him. He was,
let me see. Is he even in Discord? I don't think he's in.
He was just there. Where has he gone?
I don't know. That's weird. Well,
let's see if we can get him.
Recap him. Yeah, we'll see if we can get him back in the booth to talk to him.
Yeah, weird. I mean, as quickly as he showed up, he's gone.
I don't know. So just getting word in race control. Apparently, I think Dom DeLeo might be too early to celebrate. I think he's getting an EOL for jumping the start.
Oh man.
Is that DeLeo or is that Burns?
I think it's predominantly for jumping the restart because he was one of those first cars that jumped out a lane on that final restart.
Yeah, Burns is actually in the admin hauler with DeLeo and others.
Well, I think we'll have to pass on that, and we'll have to talk to him next week, guys.
No, he's actually.
Oh, there he is. All right, well,
There we
perfect
go.
timing. All right, let's see if we can chat with him. Spencer Burns gets it done. Everything's unofficial right now. It seems like it's a pretty chaotic mess at the moment, Spencer, but you crossed the line first. Take us through your night. That was a crazy ending to that thing.
Yeah, I'm still looking at the last 2 laps to figure out what's going on. Hey, all I know is we had a 3-car breakaway. I was happy with that. I was on Edwards' bumper. I was fine pushing him till all 4. Him and Connor got together. I saw the opportunity from the checkup, got to that right rear corner panel, side sucked them back, and we got to the line. Hey, after 80 laps of running single file in the second and third pack, and can't really get much better than that the last 2 laps.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it got chaotic. We saw cars spinning and sliding and crashing everywhere. All of a sudden, you're winning this race. So let's say everything stands. These are the most unofficial results I've ever seen in my life. This is everything's being unraveled. Let's say it stands. How does the race week change for you from here on out? Obviously, playoffs were a bit of a long shot there, but what's the plan here?
Well, I missed about 2 or 3 races this season. I had that little run in at Dover where I intentionally wrecked someone under caution. So my playoff hopes were kind of crushed early in the season, but I got wrecked from the lead at Daytona. I had this one circle. I knew I could get a win here. And like I said, it was unfortunate that we had that little mishap on lap 12 or 13 spread out the field those first 80 laps,
Yeah, certainly. But Spencer, I don't know what's going on as far as the front couple are concerned. I know that the 24 is under investigation, perhaps the 22. But best of luck to you, and we'll see how things pan out.
Yeah, I think I should be good. Thank God I wasn't involved with any on that last lap. I should be cool, but yeah, thank you, Matco Tools, for sponsoring me, and thank you guys for putting on the league. It's been fun this season.
All right, Spencer, good luck to you. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
All right, guys, it's been an interesting night. I don't know that we're going to know everything that we need to know immediately, so we're going to sign off, and you can check the area iRacing Twitter for updates later. Hunter Sleppy, final thoughts on this one. It was chaotic, but Talladega always is. We had a little bit of a different run, though, with that long 60-lap or so green flag run. That kind of mixed things up a bit.
Yeah, a bit of an unusual Talladega race, to say the least, with pit strategy coming into play, almost fuel mileage at the end. Had a late caution there that switched things up, and then we got back to the tight racing, 2 wide, 3 wide, 4 wide even. And then the chaotic finish towards the end. As soon as it got to the white flag, you knew all hell was about to break loose. And saw the 24 and the 22 working together down the back, thinking these two might be able to sneak their way into a good finish. And for DeLeo it worked, for Curran it did not, because of the closing rate with him and Ed Shearer Jr. And man, oh man, if Shearer Jr. doesn't give that much room on the bottom, going through the tri-wall for the final time, he might be in victory lane. But that's the price you pay whenever you make those split-second decisions, and in the end, it works out for Spencer Burns, picking up his first Area Cup Series win here at Talladega.
Any final thoughts?
I think we just saw some crazy racing all right there at the end of those last 15 laps. Fairly calm and collected. I think everything came out in that last run from these drivers, but what I can tell you is that for as far as these playoffs are concerned, we're in for a treat. A lot of quick drivers near the front. Of course, Jake Matheson, the rookie, trying to prove himself and show that he's a force to be reckoned with. He had a very impressive stat total coming into the playoffs. We'll see if he can make it last with the final 5 races that count for the Cup.
And final note before we sign off, the 22, no penalty given as he was avoiding the 71. So at least the 22 will keep his spot, but the rest you'll have to go to the Area iRacing Twitter. That'll do it for us tonight here from Talladega. We'll see you tomorrow for the Area Truck Series right here on Big Track in Talladega, Alabama.